to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. We'll be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. We'll be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans.
Ahoy hoy. Let's do it, boys. No moderator though, so we're locked at 16 at the moment.
Good day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm also seeing a couple of the clan Newt in there. I Kill You for Fun and J Frost. Thank you for that. That is absolutely amazing. Super glad to see that catching on.
With a fairly small lobby, I reckon we're going to try and get straight on into the first one and then start rotating through.
Exactly. I'm just going to grab a screenshot of who's in game so that we can sort that out after the fact.
We can get everyone to ready up. We should be able to jump straight on in. Yeah, they're all good, which is expected.
Man Bear Pig, you got a couple of seconds, and then we're going to kick this one off. There we go. let's kick off this first one, and then it looks like we just had Flo join in as a spectator, so with any luck, by the time the next game starts on up, we will be running with a slightly larger lobby.
So what you're saying is there's no pressure. We have to make sure that we finish it quickly so that everyone else can jump in for the next one.
Yeah. So that means peasants get aggressive, kings get your game faces on. Oh. As you can see from where my camera was, I've been doing some content making. But that's... Yep. Oh, I bet we've forgotten. Oh no, draft spawn order is fair. Very nice. Very nice. First week this month that we've remembered that.
We all made it in.
I'm going to try and improve on last week where I fell for the first time. All on my own.
Not good enough, Twig.
Yeah, you suck. In fact, for those of you interested in just how bad Twig is, I've left an Easter egg at the end of the video that's going up tonight. So check that one out.
Just for those that are around the outside and familiar with the rules, just please try and communicate that to your teammates. Although I'm seeing a lot of familiar names, so I'm hoping everyone knows the rules of this one, just to stay on that outer ring until the 10-minute mark, and no comm bombs until the 15-minute mark on this map.
That's a fair point, Twig. I might want to post the rules.
I'm doing just that.
There we go. I just saw Nightmare in chat, in the Twitch chat. He said he's on his way. No worries if you're running a bit late. We just appreciate it that you help us at all when you can.
I mean, running late is our signature move in these, and getting things wrong. Just stuffing up in general.
Hey, we're professionals at this now. So we're told at times.
And just let me know if the noise gate that I've on the official, let me know if the noise gate I've set isn't quite strict enough. Today I've got a mate in the room playing on his computer, so I've tried to set it so that you guys shouldn't hear that, but we'll see how it goes. If I'm talking and you hear him in the background, it is what it is. I can't fix that. But if it's him popping up instead of me, that is something that the noise gate should be able to fix.
Seems to be going all right at the moment.
We've got a few that are all sitting in spectator that sound like they're going to be judging us.
Judge away. Judge away, my friends. That is A-okay by me.
Who we got up here? We got Mazza and Jellio. Nice.
I just hope that I don't have to deal with a couple of the particularly strong ones over here. J Frost, I Kill You for Fun, Piece of Bread, Uzi, Oratab. I'm definitely hoping that they're not in my lane.
Yeah. We shall see how it goes. That's right. The wind's alright on this one, isn't it?
Yeah, wind's good here.
Straight away.
The one time I do a solar start, it's not. It is the bad call.
I pretty much always start with a solar, just because it's quicker to get up than the couple of wind.
Committed to this wind at the moment. Just wind.
Oh yeah, once you get started, it's nothing but wind pretty much, but...
Yeah.
This first couple.
What's our bonus? We did get a bonus? Yes, we got the normal 45.
Yes. We made sure that you didn't get a bonus, Twig. We thought that would be most helpful.
defend his tank.
Yeah, it's a hurting a little bit at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
It'll come back in a second.
When it does, we throw down those energy storages.
Slide it down.
That's the smart thing
What
to
do you
do.
mean throw down? They're already down.
Yeah, that's smart. You're doing better than
The
me, Tom.
Conversion is the problem.
Victor's telling us there'll be no excuses accepted tonight.
That's right. Vic's already got all of his excuses prepped and ready to go.
Absolutely. Currently, the daughter's in the background screaming. That's a clear distraction. She's on your team.
Jeez.
Oh, that just changed some things.
That hurts the eyes. My build queue's in the sky. I'm just going to assume that it's going to jump in the right spot still.
And wild way of flying energy. You can keep going with your build.
We are boosting.
I'm well short
We are boosting.
on conversion at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, that's bad.
Enemy commander destroyed.
Push that. Get over there. Yes.
What are we at? 433. Feel like I'm going too slow.
Fine.
You'll be alright. There you go.
I got
Yeah,
64 wind. How many did you guys go?
I went 34.
Wow, I went
I have
almost
39.
double. I went too many. Because that is now not metal into my T2 lab.
Yeah, you're going to be a little behind on your T2 lab. But that's as long as the fusion comes down between the 7 and 8 minutes, it's not too bad,
Yeah.
regardless of what you do.
Yeah, some of my build queues are a bit funky, aren't they?
Enemy commander destroyed.
This build power grow on.
Six minutes 34.
Yeah.
Let's find out who we're against.
Actually, yeah, I should probably be looking at a radar.
Shotgun not having 4 players. Yeah, what was it? 4 players against me last week.
You should be safe from that this time around because there's not that many players in here. Gee, it's gonna be a lane.
I did not go enough wind.
Pushing it a bit. Maybe my amount of
Tank
wind
Tom,
was
can
the
you send
good
me some
amount.
power? Oh my god, that's huge, Tom. That's huge for me.
Mine is going to be up at 30 odd seconds, so that is good. Yep. You guys can start working on. Who else is struck?
I got all right. I got 3 players, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Trouble. I'm in trouble. I went greedy.
Did you go for 2 fusions?
I did.
Yeah, it might be a bit rough.
$15 seconds left, people. There we go. Time is up. That's a lot of pawns.
Oh, thank god that ticks.
It gets a bit like that, doesn't it?
T2 unit detected.
Oh, thank goodness. I got there just in time.
Oh no, I misclicked. I misclicked. That was really rookie
Messed
tweak.
up.
Really rookie. Dragged my welders away from my base.
Oh no.
We're all good. We survived. We've survived. We survived. That is good. That is what you want.
On the plus side, the fact that I didn't die with the greedy start means I'm in a really good spot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's looking at expand Ace Eco a little bit more.
That's not running into the same stuff that I did last time. I need converters.
Who have I got? Bear man, bear pig. He's doing alright. He's doing well.
These peasants are defending well.
Yeah, I'm not breaking. Well, I've managed to kill some Eco, and that's about it. I'm not happy with that.
Yes, I mean, on this side at least.
Commander destroyed.
Away.
Oof, that's gonna hurt, but I'm in. But I'm in. Whew, that was pain.
Keep stuffing my units partway. I need something to run the range. Good with some of these, I guess. They've done a really good job of defending all the bits.
Yes, yes they have.
Like, there is a lot of towers everywhere.
These fat boys are wrecking me. Oh, I need way more build power. Okay. I see. I see. How do I defend against all of this harassment I'm getting?
Good question.
All units, big booms.
Commander destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Ah, I should have been using Blitz, not Rovers. That could be why I was doing so bad. Well, I might be in trouble, yeah.
What to do, what to do.
Fences feel like they were a bad idea, but that's okay.
Commander destroyed. Enemy commander destroyed.
There we go.
These guys are doing really good.
Yeah, these guys did really well. These guys did really well.
Yay, finally did something.
Comms, I'm not going to deal with that.
I don't like that I'm against snipers.
Yeah, they're evil.
Get him.
Hopefully that metal will help you.
I just realized I'm getting spidered.
I'm not doing this great.
Okay, let's get this up and running a bit better.
You're overflowing metal.
You gotta keep that scaling going.
Yeah, stop scaling, which was silly.
That's right, Twig. I'm about to come help you. There's spiders coming from behind, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen him.
You've had to deal with them already?
Yeah, I just saw that he was doing it.
The economy's starting to get rolling, but I'm also concerned by what they've got. There's just so many defenses. So many defenses.
Oh, I pray you've won this for me. I might as well come forward. I was building T3. I don't think it's going to do anything.
I come.
Really nicely done
Yes,
by
you
Ara
is.
and
Yeah, they were kicking your ass.
I wouldn't say at any point they were kicking my ass. I just could
They're
not.
not dead. That
Yeah.
means they're kicking your ass.
No one
Yeah.
lost. I didn't lose any eco. They only lost a couple conversion.
Oh man, they have a Juno too.
That would have been pretty clutch, actually.
Oh, nice one there. That com got in pretty deep just there.
Commander destroyed.
I only got my T3 up.
We've got Cookie coming around and helping me, or Mazza, I should say.
Nice.
And it looks like we're gonna be in a new lobby for the next one because this one's crashed, according to that.
Okay,
Awesome.
we'll sort that out as
Love
soon
that.
as we're out of this one.
There's so many defenses, my god. Has anyone got some spare metal to chuck my way?
Unfortunately, not. The 3,000 I gave you earlier was what I could give.
There's 29.
Yeah, here you go, take Tom. Have my 177.
You've done well up there, Yuzi. I was struggling severely to crack your... Who is it? You and Scruffy. You guys have done well. because there is enough defenses here that I just could not punch on through.
Unfortunately, you're now feeling the wrath of all of the kings surviving.
Yes, at this point, there's not a whole lot of hope. But the
Oh
fact
man,
that
this
you
space
made it
is
to this point,
full of defenses. What the hell?
can you see why I was struggling to crack it?
Uh-huh.
Destroyed.
These guys will have good damage numbers on the graphs, I'm suspecting.
Nicely done, Jalio, Mazza, and Prey, winning it for us.
Ended.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Mm.
There's some serious damage numbers out of the peasants there. That's great.
Yeah, those graphs aren't particularly different from each other.
The ego is pretty strong out of the peasants too, I gotta say.
Hmm.
Quite a few up there.
I think we've been sucked into the new lobby already.
That's handy.
It is. Question is, are we going to play this one or commentate this one? I think I'll commentate, but it's up to you guys if you want to play or not.
I will see what the demand is like in the middle for the Kings. There's many players up there. One
That
thing I
is a
want to
good call.
One thing I want to open up later tonight is players that haven't had the chance to be a king before. If we can get a game where anyone wants to step up, let us know, and we'll throw in a higher bonus than usual for those that have never been king before.
We
Right.
Alright. That looks like the numbers that we need in there. This is going to be... Is that going to be like a 45-50?
We got the 7. Yeah. Oh, the first 4 people on that list definitely know what they're doing.
They have to be able to get out.
Go the
and
50.
it's-
Yeah, go the 50.
Yeah.
And Prey, do you want to hit a refresh on the YouTube? It's good to go now. On the official
No
bar.
worries. Let's get that one. Alright, it's just going off. Give it about 10 seconds and then I'll boot it back on again. Maxi 12, so I'm running on a 4K monitor. So it scales everything down, and then any settings where the setting isn't anything that I can do to make the text smaller, I usually do because it's a 48-inch monitor. So it also gives me great opportunities to manage the lobbies because I can actually see everything that's going on. But if it helps, I can do this, which will make it smaller for you.
This setup is massive for anyone.
Oh yeah, so I run a 5 monitor setup. I've got one 48-inch 4K monitor. I've got 3 32-inch 1440p's and a color accurate 27-inch 1080p off to the side for any time I do color accurate work.
You know, like going to your house reminds me of, you know, how every state's got one of those places that have all the traffic controllers with 1,000 monitors on the screen so they can monitor every intersection. That's your house.
And then next to it, I've got my work setup, which is a laptop connected to a ultra wide and 2 32-inch monitors. But I did a lot of work in defense, and in particular, I did work on ASDEFCON tendering, and that necessitated a ludicrous amount of multitasking. And if you've ever had to work on 10 documents simultaneously and edit them together for cohesiveness, you can never have enough screen real estate. Similarly, I used to do demos for some simulation stuff. And the ability to have the brief, to have the recording software, to have the program running, and then to have a Discord or a Teams meeting up at the same time is invaluable. It's absolutely invaluable.
Just been DMing in the background. We've had a proposal for the proposed unit reworks, the ones that PTAC recently posted in the announcements. So that's going to, it's just minor tweaks.
Yeah.
More so what the game will probably feel like in a few weeks' time when they get released. I think
I
I
am happy
just
for that
yeah,
thing.
that has happened now. Have we turned off? Who set this one up? Have we turned off the those few units that need to be turned off for this game?
Doesn't look like there. Does look like we have. No, that's the debug
Yeah,
command.
Nightmare said yes. It's
looks
been
like
turned.
Okay, cool.
All right, and I'll just post those rules for Roan. There we go.
The ultra wides they do have their problems. Like I know Tank Tom runs an ultra wide, so when he streams, he has to change his settings and run with black bars. So they're not perfect in that situation, but I like the FOV that it gives me in games that it does work on. That's the one downside to my setup is that I'm running a standard I forgot what it's called, but it's standard ratio.
Aspect ratio.
20 aspect ratio. That's 21:9. I particularly like the 49-inch monitor, the 49-inch ultra wide, because of the absolutely ludicrous field of view you can get.
Looks like we're pretty
If
much good
you've,
to go. Are we happy with the 50 bonus with the 50 odd players? Is that going to be
I think
enough?
55.
Yeah. Start at the
Um,
bottom.
We're only at 40 something peasants at the moment. 47.
Oh yeah, 47 peasants. I still think 55.
All right, no worries. You've made the call.
So yeah, no, I'd love to get that 40. If you guys have ever played Minecraft, which I suspect quite a lot of people have, when you change your FOV, there's a if you go all the way and max out the slider, it's called Quake
Pro.
Pro. That's the life I like to live. So what's my hardware? So I'm running a an RTX 4080, and I'm also running an Intel A770. And the A770, using that for AV1 encoding for making videos, oh my god, it's night and day over H.264. The Intel basically just powers all the peripheral monitors, and the 4080 powers the main monitor.
Oh, we just had somebody else jump down the bottom. Move them out.
Have we got Jacko, the king that's
Let's
asleep
just
at the
make
moment here?
sure. Yep, he just went away from the Zeds. Yeah,
Nice.
all good.
Cool. Just
So
a couple of people with downloads by the looks. That'll be good to go.
I think you can force AV1 encoding on the 4080, but the Intel has a dedicated AV1 encoding chip. So and the difference is huge. So doing the exact same thing on the 4080 for uploading videos to YouTube takes
Good.
10 times longer than doing it on the Intel card. That said, if getting a dual card set up to work with an Intel card was a pretty insane endeavor. They're doing quite well for standard setups, but when you start moving away from the standard, I think Intel's still got a way to go. But hey, I could be wrong. I 100% could be wrong. I'll just check.
I reckon we're going to look at trying to get this one going, so I'm probably going to start specking people that are still downloading just so that we can
There you go. I just had a quick Google, and the
get underway in a
4080
sec.
does have an AV1 encoder. It must have been it. It still does it on my Intel though, which is interesting. So I think the AV1 encoder on the A770 might be more powerful than the one on the 4080. But
Yeah, should be good to go.
all right, looks like we've managed to it definitely does free up the power on the 4080, which is nice. Anyway, the combination of the two, I'm very, very happy with them. I was a little on the fence with how new Intel stuff is, but I'm really glad I took the plunge, because for the 450 Australian dollars that I paid for an A770, that's 16 gigs of VRAM and enough horsepower to completely free up my 4080 from every other task the computer's doing. You can't beat that with AMD or with NVIDIA these days. Let's swap that one over to the main one. Let's get ready to run over here. And
Let's see how many people we've got in the Discord at the moment as well. We've got
let's have a quick look.
heavy, healthy Peasants and Kings channel.
Oh, that is a very pretty Discord right now. Well done, people jumping in there and coordinating with your teams.
Oh wow, that's massive.
We almost needed to add another channel or two.
We should have co-op. We should have co-op corner channels. We'll have the victory corner. We'll have the slacker corner. Alrighty. Twig, you've got this one recording just in case.
I do. Just made another
You got
co-op
hard
channel
drive
if
space?
anyone. All the questions, all the checklists. Tick, tick, tick. We're all good. I record onto the
So-
spindles. I know it's incredibly slow, but there's plenty of room on them.
So, for anyone wondering, Twig still runs actual hard drives, like spinning disk
Spinning
magnetic
disks.
hard drives.
Just for storage.
And I wouldn't blame people that don't make videos for doing that, but people that do make videos, Twig should be on an SSD.
Hey, for
Well-
archiving stuff, it makes a lot of sense.
It does, at which point you should probably run a separate server.
If I have spare money, it seems to go towards the latest thing that my wife needs for the house.
And then if there's any left over, you get to pay for stuff for your kid. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Alrighty. And for those of you that aren't overly familiar with the rules of King of the Hill, we'll do a brief run over when the game starts, just so that we can be included in the video.
Legions on this game, and what else do we got?
What do we have Legion on?
Tactical missiles and EMPs are off. Nukes are off, air's off, RPCs are off, all the usual stuff, and then we've got the T1 and T2 missile units disabled. Cool. We'll repeat those.
I'm seeing a newt in the middle of the screen. Newt, everyone. Thank you. Australians will probably all know what a pingu is.
I should really go back and watch some of those at one point.
Yes, as grown men, we should go and watch TV shows aimed at 3-year-olds.
I mean, Twig, you're about to be coming into that era, and you'll actually find that there's a couple that are quite good, like Bluey.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be able to use it as an excuse, not be embarrassed by it.
I've been waiting all these years to watch Bluey.
Quick, get in the car. The show's about to start.
Battle started.
Hello and welcome everyone to a massive 50 versus 7 King of the Hill on Throne, with some slight tweaks from Chronographer from the AllReasonNoLogic Discord. That gives us the dry sea and the lava lake, the lava donut around the middle. So what's going on here? How can 53 versus 7 be fair? Well, it's simple. We give the 7 a plus 55% bonus, so they're effectively 1.5 players each. However, in a game of exponential scaling, being 1.5 player is actually a massive, massive advantage. Couple of comms just detonating in the lava. They did try to spawn in the no man's land, and they did find out. So, plus 55 as far as scaling goes, it means that instead of this one wind producing the 15 that it says it's producing, because it's got that 15 in the top in the top middle of the screen, that it's actually producing 55% more than that, so somewhere around 25. Then when you convert that, instead of converting at a rate of 10 energy to 1 metal, it's converting at a rate of 10 energy to 1.55 metal. And once you start getting into things like APHIS, that means building six converters instead of just the one, and that means it's producing about 100 metal instead of 40. So it's going to be a race for the Kings to get to that massive scaling position. Joining me in the casting booth are Twig and Tank Tom, that are going to go over a couple of the finer points, such as a few of the unit tweaks that have been added to this round specifically, as well as why we have no air and why we don't allow structures to be used offensively. Twig, why don't you jump in with the unit tweaks?
Okay, the rules. There is a 10-minute no rush, obviously defined by this lava. This lava will recede at the 10-minute marks. The players have just over 2 minutes left until all hell breaks loose. Air is off, nukes are off, LRPCs are off. Units that are disabled include T1 and T2 missile units, like hovers, arbiters, ambassadors, and then also we've turned off the tremors, just because you can park yourself below one of these hills and just pretty much guess anywhere, and you're going to hit eco. So it's way too overpowered for the peasants. If they were on, it's almost definite doom for the Kings. But T3, anything goes. We hope by that stage of the game the Kings are well enough defended that they're out in these middle platform areas and defending against any sort of threats. Tom, do you want to add to any of that? Why we turn these off? Why the LRPCs are off?
I'll move on to the defenses. So with the static defenses, you can basically play, if you had the LRPCs on, you could play tic-tac-toe with the King's bases and just watch things pop. So rather than being able to just sit back and shell, the aim of the game is to build up those units and actually siege onto that top level. And we see some great battles from mass, T1 pushes through to the T3 units that end up marching around the map. So we're happy for defenses to be placed. So things like you'll often see defenses that get laid kind of across the top of the hills here and then along sort of the bottoms as well. And there's generally some good holds kind of in both of those positions where you would see things like some LLTs to stop the T1 massing past. And then later on you tend to see a couple of the larger defenses, but the best defense you can have is a bigger army. If your army's bigger than theirs, there's a good chance you can kill theirs and then keep on rolling.
Talk a little bit about eco. Sorry there, Prey. So you can see here that the Kings are just bringing up T2 labs, and what we see around the outside of the map is commie eco, especially where we got these geo positions. We get 2 or 3, maybe 4, or maybe like this top right corner, about 6 commanders all putting in to try and get T2 geothermal up and T2 out to all the surrounding commanders. Not so much happening on the left hand side here. You can see all T1, everyone kind of going solo here, and as a result, no T2 sharing. We're going to see smaller economies towards that 10-minute mark. The other 4 lanes seem to be doing it right though with that commie eco.
That's right, the commie eco is an absolutely massive factors in these corners. As you were saying, comparing some of the areas where there isn't that commie eco, we're not seeing a lab in one of the wings. We're not seeing a T2 lab in one of the wings, but in one of the others, we've already got the T2 lab nearly eaten. We've got the geothermal coming up, and we've got what is going to be quite a powerful economy coming up. The exact opposite to that is actually the outside of the map, where you have the dry sea. These guys start with no metal points, which means that it's all about scaling that eco in a way that you would for something like Raptors on full metal plate, but without the ability to build yourself those metal extractors. This is the win condition for the peasants. These guys have to choose when they come online, because they either have to come online early with limited help to try and keep the Kings from breaching the middle donut, or they need to scale into the late game. So depending on where the Kings pressure depends on what those guys have to do. Because as soon as the ring that most of the peasants have started on ends up falling in an area, the outside is just free game. There is not enough money to go around till the 20-minute mark for the dry sea to defend itself. It's only with the players playing together can the peasants hope to win this one.
I'm going to point out something a little bit new. Over on the right, we've got Death Spiral. He's got a little base, already upgrading his second T2 mechs. Obviously bought or just was given T2 off of the Geo nearby. What he's done is actually sent out a couple constructors to the edge of the map as well and building a backup economy over there. Because, yes, there's a good chance 2 or 3 peasants will fall near the start of the 10-minute mark. If the Kings in the middle have a bit of a tech advantage, they might have T3 out and manage to take out 2 or 3. Having a backup economy is not a bad idea when there's so much space over on this dirt. Because if you
also
do
just
fall,
moving it back,
yeah.
you don't have to have your economy, because you've got the dry sea right behind you. You don't have to have your economy up here. This is a fantastic move. Even if they don't end up scaling, this is a fantastic move just to have it out of the way.
Yeah, space reigns supreme in quite a lot of maps.
And that's one of the limiting factors for the Kings. Beyond the fact that they have a very limited number of units compared to the, like, team-wise, there's significantly less available units for the Kings than for the peasants. Space is also a big issue. If you leave the wind up, if you don't make paths through the base for everyone, responses can be slow, units can get stuck in buildings.
Yeah.
150 decoy comms can block a lane.
Let's talk Kings for a little bit. We've got Small going for the second fusion in the middle at the moment. One thing I don't like about his base, 2 advanced converters right next to that fusion that's up. If they go pop, I don't know if that'll mean a definite pop for the fusion, but it's going to be close.
2 will not pop a fusion, but 4 will. There's a couple more coming.
Yeah.
But as long as they stay away from the Aphis, aka build the Aphis in the top half of the map, that's fine. Let the fusions blow.
And then a few
if
other.
they've made it that far in, he's likely to be falling no matter what anyway.
Yeah,
that's also true.
So these 3 wings around the outside here, we got played this many times, starting to go into some Dragon's Jaws for Legion. We want to see the same out of Potato and out of who we got over here, Duxie. I think they will do it last minute, and that is the right idea. In the last minute, put your defenses up, because you do get spiders, recluse, termites, even Kargis late game. And by late game, we mean like maybe 10 minutes later, not that much later, coming over these hills. So you want to make sure you got plenty of defenses up. We've actually found out recently T2 walls are very good for the defending against T2 pushes over those hills. And
so T1 walls will stop the T2 units from crawling over, and T2 walls will stop the T3 from crawling over.
But this AF is coming up for Duxie. If a couple of recluse come over that hill there and there's no defenses.
That's a scary spot.
Yeah, that's within range of a recluse, I reckon, that AFIS. Yikes. We've got just under a minute left. What are we thinking? What do we think?
Illegal with an interesting build here, going for the 10 energy storages.
Yeah.
That's a lot of D guns if needed. But with 30 seconds to go, that's pretty light on the defenses. In fact, with all three of the entrances are incredibly light on defenses compared to what we normally see. So this will be quite an interesting one. And if the Kings can hold, I'll be
some units up. But yeah, if there's a mass push, they are gonna feel the hurt.
These 3 players on the defending ramps, I haven't seen their names in the middle before, so maybe that's the reason why they haven't seen these before, or maybe they're just living life on the edge, going to some strong ecos. There goes the lava receding there. What a pretty sight. And straight away we're seeing a lot of units coming out of the top lanes. Man.
There are 400 units on the map, and the Kings only have about 24 of them.
Yeah,
so
Kings,
that's not a lot to block these.
Kings that have played this before need to be talking to their teammates. It is a little bit of, you need to do this, you need to do that. I know I'm quite a bossy person, so I say that easily. Some people don't like to tell people what to do, but the game will be a quick one.
Peasants are in the base, and it looks like this player's played this before and is headed straight for the straight for the top of the
Oh, we're
hill.
going to see the
If they grab this
converters.
conversion, this is going to be all over for the Kings straight away.
Oh, there we go.
That's essentially the game right there.
The Aphis is still up.
This is
but there's
fantastic.
nothing else.
This is going to be one of the shortest games. No interfering mods. I want to see this go down quick. It's a lessons learned. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's another lane falling as well.
You have
defenses
to build.
are important, everyone.
If you don't build the static defense, you need to have the units to do the equivalent job.
Which it was certainly missing.
Yeah. The roles for this game. So these ramps, you need defenses up. You maybe one fusion by the 10-minute mark, sure, but you need defenses up. Is your job to stop anything pushing through these ramps. The wings, units, and then the center eco.
If you think about this from a just from a pure numbers standpoint, you are one of 3 entrances coming up to the Kings if you start in one of these entrance spots. If 50% of the players around the outside build units, that means that you have to 1v10 at each ramp.
There goes Smalls Commander.
When you've got 50 players, for all of them to make 10 or 20 units isn't overly unreasonable, at which point you've got hundreds of units rocking up at each ramp.
Just an interesting point. So a spectator in chat has just said that it should have been a 100 bonus, not a 55. Kings have won this at 45. Kings have won this at 45. The big difference comes down to experience. With a 55 bonus at 10 minutes, I will have 10 to 15 beamers. I'll have 10 to 15 dragon claws. I'll have 4 to 5 T2 artilleries, and I'll have 1 to 2 beamers defending my entrance, plus walls, plus units, plus an APHIS. That's what you need.
I am actually just... One thing that is a little bit different, I think I haven't seen so many T1 units in a game push this quickly.
This is a big T1
Having
push.
said that, it's probably the reaction.
The T1 normally does happen, you just don't see it because the defenses are there to stop them.
True.
10 beamers shreds everything that comes... 10 beamers plus 10 dragon claws shreds everything that attacked the Kings right now.
Yeah, and a lot of players are doing exactly what needed as well. They identify... Oh wow, we've got Akagi up over the hill on the right. Unlucky potato. Yeah, a lot of peasants are reacting. They're like, okay, we're in. Let's build units now and take advantage of the head start that we've got.
Yeah.
It does look like we've had
Looks like-
interference.
There is 1 comm left out of the Kings, and once that one goes down, I think that's it. Yeah. We will call that, and we'll get the next one set up.
Really nicely done, peasants. Unfortunately, we had 3 slightly inexperienced Kings on those ramps. You need to build those defenses for T1.
Nicely done to the peasants, and lessons learnt for the Kings. Thanks for joining us on this one. This will almost certainly feature as a bonus content on the channel, just as an example of how quickly things can go wrong for the Kings. All right, let's get on to that next one.
Every now and then you get a quick one. Nothing wrong with that. All right, let's get a rotation out of a few of those Kings.
Do we want to try and squeeze in one more throne before we go to Raptor?
Yep,
I think we haven't broken 60 players, so we can do that.
We'll just rotate. Can we get it
Liz
unlocked?
in chat. Yep, that one was not the typical King of the Hill, but it was a good one. Good one to see. Realistic Joseph, your first King of the Hill gone very wrong. Well, I say it went very, very right. You can't... If the game was exactly the same every time, it wouldn't be fun. And this is the price of greed. All right, well, let's get some cycling in for those Kings. Tank Tom Twig, can you post in the chat? I reckon we'll probably end up rotating. I think we'll rotate. It looks like Cookie's down there now.
Let's try to get a word
Cookie wasn't
in.
there
One sec.
before.
Can we just get an unlock of the teams.
there we go. Teams are locked. That's why.
Thank you. All right, let's get a few jumping down there. Tom, you want to just put the bonus as 61 so that we can see it?
Yeah.
Who's not been in there before? Keanu Wick, were they in there last game? No. All right. Gonna rotate out realistic Gecko.
It's always fun trying to do things when everyone's bouncing around.
Yeah. So we're looking for 7 new kings. I'll start moving a few.
Unfortunately, Ortab, when you're on the Kings team, you realistically are just one player with seven hands for throne. And if one entrance falls, it's very likely the whole team will fall. And this is one of the reasons why we never call games early if the Kings are if the Kings are winning. We never call games early because it genuinely only takes one push from the peasants to turn an entire game around.
Tom, you got control of who's in this one? I think we lost Tom.
No, I'm still here. I'm just
Tom, no.
jumping down.
If you just focus on adding the 7 that need the 61 bonus, just so that I know which ones to get rid of.
And I will keep an eye out on the top section in case anyone still has a bonus when they make their way up there.
Looks like we've got a few that are going to be relatively low OS down here.
Rosie wasn't in the last one, were they?
Rosie was not in the last one.
No.
Let's make that one 61.
How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Get up, so it weren't they?
Yeah, I'll get you to move him up. Maz has been down there already tonight, hasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, got game 1.
I might move a couple of these.
I just accidentally joined team.
And I reckon I'll move one of these guys from the bottom.
Yeah.
Back up.
Oh, look, no bonuses up there. No bonuses up there.
How many we got? 74.
Right, let's kick this one off.
I reckon we bump the bonus a bit.
Sure. Checking these. No bonuses made the top list. All right, we got 7. And we'll bump them up to
65.
65. Okay.
And then as soon as we're good to go there, we will kick it off.
Just check. Looking pretty good for IDs as well. Cool. We should be good to go.
G'day, Garp here for his very first PvP match.
Oh, that's going to be an interesting introduction. Though not a bad one. I actually reckon this is this feels closer to PvE than PvP.
Yeah. You've got the smarts of people behind decision making, but it's much it's a lot like the Raptor Crater, like the original verse Raptors.
Thank you, J Frost. Thank you, I Kill You for fun.
Got a couple of people.
And we need to post the rules. Sorry, it's also very
I've done
important.
it a few times. I'll do it again.
Yep.
We tend to have a few people sort of cycle in as we go.
Hey,
That
thanks
good
Needs as well. Just seen the newt in yours as well. That's so good. We need to make a newt channel in our Discord.
Oh, here we go.
In fact, I need to clip the newt sound so I can and put it on my soundboard to play. Wait, Twig, could we make that our subscriber sound?
Oh, we definitely should.
Oh my god, we definitely should.
All right, tomorrow night, that's what we're doing. Jumping on and watching Pingu episodes, pulling out all the best quotes. He only says one thing, so there's only going to be one quote.
You realize all the quotes are actually just newt or like mumbling sounds, right?
You'll just have that on ready to go when I start complaining about something.
Oh my god, we can assign the dad voice to you. This all started because of the penguins that can be put into this game, I'm pretty sure.
That makes a lot of sense.
If anyone hasn't had a mod just randomly drop a equivalent of a juggernaut that's a penguin into your game, you are sorely missing out. That is just one of the best things. Alright, let's swap that over. Aha, and I did it before anyone had to remind me.
We got the recording game.
I have a post-it note that reminds me now.
Which of your 14 monitors does it sit on?
Wait, 6. Well, of the 9 that I have access to in this room, it's posted to the main one.
Which is about as big
It would be
as
pretty
my main
useless if it
TV
was
in
on
my
the other
house.
desk. Thanks, Leo Nerd. You were gonna write me up if I had forgotten, but I'm getting better at it. Not to mention a little bit more energy these days, which is good.
Interesting. Why have we got Lord of Ice down in the lava? We might have to get a read.
Good question.
Unfortunately, we don't like to read these games, but if a king doesn't start in the required place, they usually... Yeah. And the other thing is if we force it in there and maybe Tom, you get thrown in the middle.
The worst part about that last time was I couldn't rotate anything.
What do you
At
mean
least if it's done
rotate?
for start,
That's
I
quite
couldn't
funny.
rotate any bit. Like, my labs were just pointing the way that they were pointing.
I have a feeling this commander... I don't know if the mods are able to move a commander. But I reckon we might be having to get somebody else to...
I think I
Yes.
understand what their plan is. I reckon they're trying to go for the 2.44s in the lava, but the problem is it is lava.
Yeah.
It looks like they timed out,
Yeah,
so they are
okay.
not there.
Do we re or do we get a force
I
move?
can
If we can force Tom in, we'll do that, but otherwise we'll re.
Okay, we can sub Cookie has said, so we're going to sub Tom in for
Okay.
Lord of Nocturne Ice. All right, Tom on the ready.
No, I can't move.
Can't move. Can we maybe detonate that com and then just give him a fresh one at the top? Yeah, he's going to
Yeah.
respawn
Yeah,
it.
that looks like what's gonna happen. Just make sure that we boost if you because that'll lose Tom about 30 to 40% of his metal and energy. If you can just drop him a couple of free things like his first 4 or 8 wind or something, that would be sick.
I can't move in.
Faction? What faction do you want, Tom?
Lucky Dip. Surprise me.
Give him scabs.
Yeah.
Or raptors.
That would be fun. We have had the privilege of fighting a lobby of this size before as raptors. That was quite fun. Also very low APM. It's just like click and send.
That was the best thing. My favorite part was every time Twig did a command, I'd do one just after and take all his units.
I've got control of that now, so we should be good to go.
Nice.
I just don't have a ready button, so feel free to force start when ready.
Alright, we're going to get that force start going, and then we will run the game.
Battle started. Commander has died.
Hello and welcome everybody. You're joining us for what has been a slightly confusing start to King of the Hill, but Tank Tom has been subbed in to take the heat. So everybody let him know in the comments and in the chat. Give him a massive thanks for jumping in and saving the match. So this is a nice and massive one for today with 78 versus 7 on Throne. I don't think we've seen one on Throne quite this big in a while. We usually swap to Raptor Crater for this. But what exactly is going on? We've got 7 kings in the middle of the map. These guys have a plus 65% bonus, which is going to help them scale exponentially. But that means they've only got 10 minutes before the absolute sheer horde of peasants come at them. I reckon the kings are going to have the power in units, but the peasants are going to have the power in the comms. If they play the good comm game, they're going to win nicely. A couple of additional rules for this one, just to keep everybody in the know. There is some slight tweaks that are to do with upcoming changes in bar and testing them, so we're having a look at how those goes. I do believe some things like changes in lab costs and some minor tweaks to units, but the standard rules still apply. Those being 10-minute no rush, the lava is a pretty good indicator of that, as well as the no using structures offensively and air being off. This one has some map-specific rules. Those ones involve not using rocket artillery, not using T2 or T1 rocket artillery. T3 is fine, because the kings should have had enough time to get themselves up and running by then, but a bunch of arbiters at the 10-minute mark is too much to deal with. Looking around the map, we do have some interesting co-op corners, and you can see by just the number of comms working on a single geo at the moment, and getting that one up by the under 2-minute mark. These guys are going to be in a great position, and they're going to have to be, because we have a lot of players in the dry sea. These guys, if they work together, they should be able to get some pretty epic ecos going by that 20 to 30-minute mark and really start pushing units in. But bear in mind, if the players in front of you are falling, you need to help them as hard as you possibly can, because once the kings are out onto the open sea, if it's not at that post 20-minute mark, then you're going to have a very bad time. There's no way you can build units fast enough to stop them. Joining me in the casting booth is Twig and kind of Tank Tom. Since he's being subbed in, he's still technically here, but his APM and his voice is going to be taken up quite heavily by playing.
I reckon we give him all the questions. Give those peasants a bit of help.
Exactly. So, Tank Tom, we wanted to know exactly what the sine coefficient of a triangle is in Bar's unilateral motion system.
42.
Good answer, considering I made up most of those.
You're working well, because he took forever to reclaim his T1 lab. He's only just doing that now. Taking a good 30 seconds to build the first 2% of his T2 lab.
If anyone in chat wants some questions for Tank Tom, the harder the better. Let us know and we'll ask him. Warning, you'll probably get sarcastic answers.
I am wondering if your 1 metal storage is going to be enough. Oh no, that's right. You did not ever float even close. I was thinking T2 lab. 2900.
No.
I've done this before.
If you do reclaim a T2 lab, you need 2 metal storages.
Or 2 advanced
my
metal
God.
points.
Hmm.
This corner's This corner with Alex speed is scary.
Oh, I
That
should have been giving stuff to the middle.
that
Shouldn't I?
advanced Geo's already going down.
Yikes. Have we got any other lanes that are looking like that? We
Have
got
a quick look.
the classic example of one corner not coming, and they're a long way behind. Top's going all right. They're going into their T2 lab, a little bit slow. Top right as well, lots of commanders up here. T2's up there. We're about to see the T2 Geo go down.
Oh my. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 comms in one corner.
Yikes.
Oh my god.
One of the kings is their workout for them. Just remember, kings, on those wings, what you want to have by the 10-minute marks is at least a fusion up. It's your job to focus on units, but also have defenses around these wings here. You did got to watch out for those spiders coming over the hill.
Just a quick one. In the bottom right-hand side, looking at Psycho Pew Pew, Wizard of Hog, and Dangalore, they are working together to co-op eco outside of the map. They're doing it in the dry sea.
They've got a T2
This is
lab?
something we do not see very often, but that means they've got their T2 lab pre 5 minutes. I don't think we've ever seen a T2 lab in the dry sea this early.
Yeah, it's more so what we see on the left, bottom left. T2 lab half built at this stage, not quite half built. That's the best case as well.
And that's OP Man with 2 comms managing to get that one done.
Got a T2 lab going in the top left as well. Very interesting. So
This is the sort of normal timing, but having it complete that early. Again, Bar is a game of exponential scaling. If you can wipe 2 to 3 minutes off of your build in the first 10 minutes, then you can get so far ahead by the 20-minute mark. It's unbelievable.
the Kings are going to have their work cut out for them. And they do have a 65% bonus. So hopefully that's enough to make up for it. That is 15% more than what we usually give at Throne. There are a few more peasants as well. So that's part of the reason we bumped up that bonus. There is plenty of experience in the middle, especially with Tank Tom, Jellio, Piece of Bread. All these guys have done this before. Hopefully we see them get enough units out to roll at least one of these lanes at the 10-minute mark.
The highest bonus we've ever done on this map was a plus 75. And with that level of power, the Kings absolutely rolled every lane.
It means 75% bonus. You've probably got an APHIS up at least in the middle, maybe even in the wings.
I'm pretty sure that everyone had double fusion APHIS and an army by 10 minutes with plus 75.
Yeah, T3 rolling out up against T1 in some lanes. It was very unfair. So we'll see how these guys go.
3 Razorbacks down the ramp at 10 minutes was absolutely disgusting.
I do remember when we first started Throne as King of the Hills, back when we were only capped at the 16 players. We used to do 3 of us in the middle versus, obviously there was water around the outside, so versus the other 13 players. And we could usually get a Razorback with thick streams out, and that's when you get a third of this metal to yourself rather than dividing it by 7 players.
If the change that allows you to change the unit cap ever pops up, then I would love to do a 3 versus however many in the middle, just us 3 versus the world. Each of us takes 1 wind with plus 100, 1 wing with plus 100, and see how we go.
Shotgun the mexes in the middle.
Got an APHIS coming up in the top right hand wing. Looks like it's going to be down at around about the 8-minute mark. That's intense for one of these corners. When with all these comms working together, they've already got the advanced Geo. They've already got a fusion. They've already T2'd all of their mexes. This is a scary, scary spot.
Man, that's nasty. And with this bonus, I was thinking, oh, okay, we're going to see some lanes roll, but I have a feeling the Kings might actually have to play this one quite defensively.
I think the Kings are going to struggle a little bit. We're seeing double fusion out of Rosie. We've got single fusion out of Tom, which is good because he needs to be building those defenses. Single fusion out of Keanu Wick. Clever. Double fusion out of Piece of Bread. APHIS going down in the middle of the map. And then a single fusion for Sostite. Sosti? And so we've got a very decent amount of eco coming out of the Kings in the middle. It's going to come down to how well they scale as to whether or not they're going to make that push out. I'm not seeing a huge amount of aggression that's going to be at that 10-minute mark.
As an experienced king, are you telling your wing family to build defenses around those cliffs?
Nope, I am trying to work out what I'm doing myself because I've never played in this position. Is what's going on at the moment.
Well, I can tell you for a fact, the chimeras out of the T2 constructor, are ludicrously strong. They're basically a long-range pounder with miniguns attached as defenses. They absolutely Shrek They absolutely Shrek T2 and T1.
Man, I hope.
Also, if you build LLTs in front of, those units, they will block line of sight. So you usually go with towers and then pop-ups in front, and then walls in front of that. Is a good start, and build power to spend your metal helps too. For those of you wondering and thinking, hey, this is unfair, we're telling Tecton what to do in the middle of the game. Yes it is.
However, this also applies to everyone else that's listening.
There's also exactly
as well.
85 players watching, and many of them are in stream, and that is the lava dropping down. Quick bandbox tells us there are only 300 units on the map, which is 100 less than last game, and we will see whether these entrances break. Some are well defended, some of them not so much. And unfortunately, one of those slightly lighter defended maps is lightly defended is getting a big attack on them. Some T2 there to deal with it. The Fiends are very, very strong against these units, but there is an overwhelming amount coming, and they cannot be in all places at once, not to mention they will start to fall. Is this going to be the same entrance? It is the same entrance as last time, but thankfully the Fiends just enough to make them back off.
Got the lashes there for a bit of line of sight, but we do have our first T3 unit out for the Kings. Probably not the best unit though. The Krez with quite the short of range, 450. It will be enough to stop.
Yeah, but if you want something to kill T1, this is like a super pounder with miniguns.
Didn't actually see the shot. Oh yeah, okay, that's
it. Absolutely shreks. This is the halfway point between a pounder and a Tsar, with the move speed of a regular T1 tank. So it's definitely the right choice here, and one of my favorite units out of the Legion T3 lab. In fact, do you know what my all-time favorite unit out of the T3 lab is for Legion? It's everything. It's everything except the Javelin. The Javelin is terrible.
Surely the Sol Invictus is your favorite unit.
All right, it looks like we have got a decent amount of stalemating going on over here, but a very interesting strategy by Small and Potato, getting their comms right up to the corner. They can actually, I think they can degun a bunch of these. Small, do not build LLTs up there. You know you're not allowed to build LLTs up there.
I feel concerned hearing things like this. I don't know if I should be worried or whether it's not my side or...
Alright.
I feel like I have definitely held at this point though.
We do have two Javelins harassing on the right hand side, but there are so many defenses. We've got SARS out, we've got Tigers out on the right there. We've even got Bulls, we've got all the tanks. P3 lab coming up as well.
I love that these incinerators are being used for defense. These things are absolute T1 annihilators. If you want to hold an area against T1, I do not think there's a better unit in the game for it.
Is there a radar for you, Tom?
Yeah, I got one on my base.
Alright. Incinerators are really doing work, slow pushing their way out. No real big response yet out of the peasants for that. Problem with the incinerators, of course, without spam, very susceptible to D-guns.
And snipers.
How does the range go for an incinerator versus sniper though?
I think the sniper outranges it, but not by that much.
Yeah, 725 versus I don't know how much. And we're about to see what a few spiders can do. On the right hand side, we're pushing into Keanu Wick's space, and we're going to see this conversion. We're going to target the T2 conversion because that's what you want to go for straight away. Unfortunately, targeting the T1, but targeting the T2, that'll go pop and take out all the build power as well. On the right, we've got the Myrmidons shooting up and over the hill. So real big problems here. What we need to see out of Sosti is exactly what they're doing. These overseers are going to be able to deflect off any bullets. I'm surprised how little we've seen out of spiders this game, because that is where the Kings were weak.
These are getting the Myrmidons out this early on, the 15-minute Myrmidons, and they're just going to keep coming. That shield is not going to hold up for long. You're going to need at least 2 of those. And unfortunately, because the Kings are having to scale to deal with this level of offensive power, they're not getting out there too much. A couple of the incinerators are trying to punch their way in, but they have been taken out by the comms. Again, comms being one of the best defenses. The Kings are stuck in a very defensive position, and that is not good for them. They need to start doing damage, because the longer the game goes on, the more time it gives the dry sea to come online. And once the dry sea comes online, you'll essentially have double the number of players to deal with. So even if the middle ring isn't taking advantage of, isn't scaling, the outside of the map will be, and the Kings will struggle to overtake. Right now, it is almost double the eco in favor of the peasants, and if the Kings don't manage to equalize that by the 20-minute mark, then it definitely starts becoming a real uphill battle.
We've actually got a couple catapults down south now, so Tom now being outranged. And if these are positioned correctly, they can shoot up over these hills. It's very hard though to pick that line. We might see it out of one of these catapults. Nope. Got to position them just right so they can shoot up and over. It is possible. It is even possible to just aim for the top of these cliffs, and then some of the overshots will take out eco.
That can be very difficult to deal with, because the shields do not stop missiles. They only... There we go. That is a massive amount of damage done to Keanu Wick. One of the first shot out of those catapults, targeting just the middle of the map, manages to catch the entirety of the conversion just there. Even though most of the missiles were stopped by the cliffs, that is devastating. And this is why we advocate building your economy closer to the inside of the map. This is the safe spot for conversion, and this is the safe spot for your APHIS.
Yeah, really what we need to see out of the middle player is some units that can go up and over. What does the Legion have that is all-terrain for T3? Is there any? I don't think so.
The Legion all-terrain is the equivalent of the LRPC.
It's
the Myrmidon, and it's the... Oh, yeah, it is the Myrmidon, sorry. It's only the extra unit pack that has the other.
What this team really needs, which they don't have, is a core. Oh, there is Cortex. We need to see some Cargoneths coming and defending these.
Looking
cliffs.
at Keanu Wick is not being given any grace. Termites in the base. Thankfully, though, I don't think they're going to get too much done with the reaction of these Razorbacks.
Build power is keeping those alive.
Yes, and also the Razorback running point guard and actually standing at the defense. However, the
12%.
We do have the Razorbacks.
11%.
The Razorbacks have seen the spot. This is where you actually have to eat that APHIS. You have to, otherwise it will pop eventually.
You want to be building over near the cliffs, closer to the center of your Keanu. Kind of over here. That's where I like to build my eco. If I start on one of the wings, clump up all the APHISes together and hope for the best.
This is getting rough.
Some more catapult shots going in, and there we go. Good shot on with the catapults. I shouldn't have said anything.
No.
Maybe they got the idea of shooting for those cliffs from the stream. Who knows? Sorry about that. If you didn't know about that, you do now. Maybe that's a new unit that we have to ban on this map.
Which one? Sorry.
The catapult.
No, the catapult is
D3's fair
catapult
game.
is good. And if you build your economy in safe places, it's not a problem.
Yeah, and honestly, responses can be made to these sort of things. You just need to build all-terrain units that can go over the cliffs and defend that way.
Destroyed.
It looks like we've got the first peasant foray into the middle of the map. Tank Tom's lane has been pressured too hard by the snipers and by all of the catapults, and a couple of those ticks did sneak by, thankfully reclaimed before they could do too much damage.
Just want to point out that Keanu went and cleared out the entirety with his army on 6 commanders at the same time. If he did that a little bit earlier with that massive army, that would have taken out the catapults that did all the damage to his base. So now restarting again. Aggression wins games.
And this is where the rest of the team needs to step up and give Keanu the resources he needs to get back into the game. At this point, there is plenty in there. If you look at what's going on, lots of metal, lots of energy for most of the players, and what we need to see is all of them just to build a couple of the T2 butlers or equivalent and send them over to Keanu to get him into the game, transfer a little bit of that energy. Any remaining wind or T1 conversion, just flick it over to him to get him back up and running.
These datalists on north have been doing working their way around the map. They've got a bit of spam ahead of them as well. What is the response I'm seeing? More and more being eco.
For a second, I thought the datalist was a hover now, but it is still a tank.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, they are being pulled back defensively. These guys really need to be getting out there and doing the attack. That is a lot of resources in Daedalus. If we can get some spam in front of them, they need to be pushing out and starting to sweep that dry sea, give them a bit of a reset.
Close as well. They could have just gone straight ahead and they would have come across those 3 aphises in the advanced geo.
Though they could actually be potentially better served heading around to the other side of the clip to help out Sosti, who is currently being shelled by six of those Myrmidons. And
in Keanu's base, is it getting microed?
Oh no!
Just as he's coming back online, he's actually rezzing the aphis. That should definitely be reclaimed for metal and built elsewhere.
Does it look like Keanu is going to be able to grab it with a D-gun though? So a smart play from oh no, the peasants are not letting up. We've now got the termites that are streaking in over the hill, getting picked up by the D-guns, but really not giving Keanu much in the way of reprieve. Keanu, if you're listening, leave a gap in your build turrets. If you're going to build them in such big lots, leave a gap so that they can't all chain react together, because that will be devastating if you lose them all again, and the peasants do not want you to have them.
Oh man, this is not good. This is not good.
Players, why are you no helping?
Somebody needs to help. Oh, I tell you why, because we've got a breach on the right hand side now. A behemoth came out, but there's no defenses here. Behemoth's great against units every 4 or 5 seconds when it shoots, but the other 4 or 5 seconds we've got about 30 units running past. Oh, it was looking good.
Like to build more small units than a few big ones.
Yeah, the behemoth is a offensive juggernaut. Unfortunately, the sort of thing that's needed for taking this on is your Razorback equivalents. It is your Soul Invictus. And it does look like Wolfalicious is going to get the... not quite. Doesn't quite get it up.
Behemoth wasn't even going for it. It was actually going for some spam, and the commander just happened to be there. It's really important when you got spam going in and you're trying to get your commander in, that it gets the D-gun off.
It does get taken down. It does get taken down. Worthy sacrifice for a com. Unfortunately, though, the beachhead is now there for the Kings, and those units are just pouring in over the walls and through the lane. This is going to be a real difficult hold, because the units that are needed to be taking on the catapults are now being pulled out of the way to try to deal with this. The Myrmidons trying to get positioning over the middle of the map, and it does look like the middle of the map has gone the Karganeth just enough to take that one down.
I think the backup
This has been a rough
move.
one for the Kings.
How do we push into Sosti's base though? Quite a few defenses there. Going into the Behemoth's probably not the right move. We want to see those probably demons coming out right now.
So the problem is it's a 3-minute build time on that Behemoth.
There's not 3 minutes left in this game the way it's looking.
There is not 3 minutes left in
No,
this
there
game.
is not.
That should be cancelled. Metal unfortunately will be lost, but you need to just get units out right now. Tom, you're actually one of the last surviving bases. Rosie's doing well. Just purely going into units. Not worried about the eco anymore. Plenty of defenses up with those cacophonies. And trying to get out there to keep the team alive, sending units in all different directions, but just don't think there's enough. I do like the fact that they're using the Praetorians. Multi-weapon shotgun assault mech. Takes out the T1 as well as the T2 quite easily.
They are an incredibly good multi-role, but in general, multi-role units tend to fall short. Do one thing, do it well.
I am falling behind a long way at the moment.
And that's one of the reasons I am a big fan of the carries, because it does one thing and it does it well, which is deal with small to mid units in a ludicrously efficient way.
Tom, it's not looking good. Have you got anything left to control? One
Not
constructor.
really, and I'm also on a 14-second delay, so I'm out of the game at this point.
Yeah, just stay back there 14 seconds from now because it's not looking too good for you. That Sol Invictus is doing a lot of work, but it's being overwhelmed now, and that build power is coming down.
It's got 250 kills. The Sol Invictus is a monster. Interestingly enough, that's not even enough to rank it up.
There is a lot of spam right now, but T3 unit's doing quite well. Damage dealt for these teams, almost even still. Jalaya's commander right on its last bit of health. Those termites there should be enough to take it out. There it goes. That's another king fallen. We're down to our last few. If the build power goes down for Saucy,
mounting. But the thing that you can see about this, even with all the advantages running through to the peasants right now, just how long Rosie and Tank Tom were able to continue to hold their entrance, or at least half of it. How long it's taken for the peasants to push through the top entrance. How they still haven't managed to fully break Sosti. If you apply the right units to the right situation, breaking into the Kings is not achievable early on. You have to be doing the chip damage from the outside with range units. You have to be trying to flood defenses and break holes. But unfortunately, when you do lose an entire player from some long range shots, it does tend to sway things pretty heavily back towards the peasants.
With Rosie just going down to some recluses, Sosti's base is the last one standing. Still building that behemoth. Slowly. Very slowly. There goes all the build power, so it's going to be even slower now.
In fact, I think that behemoth has been building for quite some time now. I don't think it's going to... I don't think that it is going to get out. Fortunately not. And that's going to be GG for the Kings. Well played by the peasants. Unlimited pressure, unyielding pressure managed to push through, as well as all of the different attack vectors. Well done to the Kings for some pretty trying circumstances, and hopefully we'll see some more aggression out of the Kings in the next couple of games. Thanks everyone for joining this one, and we'll get back into the lobby and we'll catch you in the next one. Let's have a look at the dry sea for some people that are interested in the chat. So as you can see, quite a few of them actually got up to T3. In fact, there's quite a lot of T3 coming online, and this is what I was talking about that if you haven't breached the dry sea by that 25 to 30 minute mark, then you're suddenly dealing with double the amount of stuff because they're now fully online. And what the Victor 12 with a almost 1,000 metal income at the end of the game. Absolutely phenomenal amount of scaling there.
Wow. That's some practiced eco.
Alrighty then, just having a quick look up at the chats. Thank God too. Glad that you're enjoying the content. Twig or Tank Tom will chuck a link to the Discord so that you can join the Discord channel. We're just All Reason No Logic, and that's where a lot of people are currently hanging out. So no problems there. And that's we also do a Wednesday night stream, which is a lot more casual than this. Usually it's versus AI, and we'll be in the actual channels saying hi to everyone. So if you enjoy our content and you want to hang out with us, that's where we will be. Scarlett just commenting about not doing particularly well. I think you did pretty good. You managed to hold your lane, you put the right units out, you scaled your eco. Unfortunately, the Kings just never got the momentum to push out. One of the things about King of the Hill is that it is a momentum game. Once you start winning engagements, the enemy will start trickling units in and you'll probably win more. It's not always like that, but it does happen that way quite a lot. Having a look up...
Sorry, Tom, you doing the players down in Team 2? Because I just noticed there's
Yeah.
a lot that don't have bonuses now. I'm not sure which was which.
I don't think. I didn't remove any bonuses.
Must just be players jumping back down there. We do have apology for that last team, the last game's player that dropped out. Their connection disappeared while loading in. Not a problem for that one.
Just jumping over to the YouTube chat, Adrian P asking, can we make a short video on how to set up your mouse to assign pings to a mouse button? So currently, we can make a short video on how to do key bindings. I think can we?
Well,
can
isn't
we
it
change
already
key
bound?
bindings?
Isn't it already bound?
Pretty sure it's already bound. If people are using it on their mouse, I suspect they're using third-party software like Corsair IQ or Razer Synapse. Is it? Anyway, a lot of mice come with software that let you assign keys to buttons. I know that I'm using a SwiftPoint Z, so if anyone else is familiar with those mice, you'll know that I have access to about 20 buttons, as well as all of them being pressure sensitive, a gyro, tilt functions. It functions a bit like a joystick, which has some uses and also takes a lot of getting used to. That's right, Scarlet. If you jump into the peasants team for this one, you can carry the peasants team, and then if you want to jump into the kings again after that, then more than welcome, and you can show off all of your carry skills. Hopefully, we'll see some crazy Sol Invictus plays out of you. Thanks for letting us know. I'll see if I can find Sosti and get rid of that plus 65. There it is.
I am thinking we need to bump
to fully
the
answer your
bonus for
question,
the
Adrian,
Team 2, Tom.
if
Let's
we-
go 65.
Yeah, just got more players now.
If we can, we'll have a quick look, and if there is a way to do it in the game, we'll make a quick short about doing it, because it will be something that's not universal to just that one. Hey, you were the one that claimed you could carry, so... I'm only given the information I'm given. That's right, if you want to prove yourself, I heard Twig is looking for someone to do a 1v1 with.
The silence echoes.
I'll be back in a sec. I need to get a throat lozenge.
All right, I reckon that's that team.
That's fair. That's fair. You do expect the highest OS on the team to do the carrying, and that is denoted by the colors. For those of you that don't know that, if you're blue on a team, it means you have the highest OS. If you're red, it means that you have the highest OS on a red team. Oh dear. Yeah, no, that's fair. He is a bit old. He is a bit old for a 1v1. He doesn't have the stamina he used to. We can get his wife on to talk about that sometime. Does look like Victor's keen for a 1v1 though. Make sure to reach out to Twig on the AllReasonNoLogic Discord for that one.
He'll flog me.
Twig, have you posted? Have you? Can you send me the links for the AllReasonNoLogic Discord
Yep, I'll post them
so that I
again.
can post those in the chat?
Yep.
Chuck them in our private channel.
Just waiting on one download at the moment, and then we're good to go. So we'll give him a little bit longer, and then we'll spec if required.
Okay. So thanks for that. So if we wanted to make a tutorial on how to do the key binding changes, then then you have to do a file edit. So we'll look at that, and if it seems like something we can make a decent tutorial on, we will. If not, then we will skulk off into the backgrounds and pretend like we never said we would try to do it.
And that way.
Just checking, you're talking about, originated from talking about the pinging on the map with the mouse only?
Adrian P asking about the pinging with the mouse.
Isn't it just
yeah.
middle click?
Is it?
Pretty sure it's just middle click. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I'm just trying to remember. Like,
I mean, we'll be
can
able
do
to
it
find
in
that out
game.
pretty quick.
I can do it in game, but like I can't remember right now talking about it.
All right, so we're going to be testing that.
Yes,
Nightmare's confirming middle click is in fact ping.
So there's your short. Just record the extract the last 15 minutes conversation.
Don't tell anyone. We're going to make a short on this. We're going to monetize a short on this.
It's going to be a very, very short.
Oh, it's for okay, and it's while holding Q on Legacy.
Yeah, it's just
okay.
hold
So
down
middle
the
click's
button.
only Legacy. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it might be tilt. It might be the tilde key and middle click for grid.
We will work it out, and if we can, we'll make a short. All right, let's get this underway. This has devolved into a bit of a chat. It does look like we have the right number of kings, but a few of them are in.
We've been struggling to get a start. That's because some players are in a game.
Yep, Small, you appear to be in a game. Draholm is still in a game.
Looks like we should be resetting here in a sec. That will definitely help. See if we can get underway.
There we go. Good for a start.
All right, give me 1 sec. I'll be back before the game starts.
Excuse the coughing. Still getting over a cold.
Okie dokie.
Are you in this one, Tom, or you're casting?
I think I'm casting again.
Good. Give my voice a
I feel
break.
like I really should know that.
I'm opposite. I actually thought I was in the last game, but then I wasn't. Tom, do you want to just tell everyone the rules quickly on stream for those that don't know them already?
Yeah, so for this one, we've got a 10-minute no rush, and then once the lava drops, it's all hell breaks loose. One of the most successful strategies we've seen is mass units and push.
Well, that's good.
And if you do that at the 10-minute mark, you've got a very high likelihood of success. the other thing is no structures that can attack the bases. So things like we like to see the range of defenses being able to sit like here somewhere when that line comes up.
Hmm. It does lag a lot before game, but it does get better until it doesn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing a lot of things in this first couple of minutes while everyone's connecting and working out what's going on. We ask that everyone spawns outside the lava. Anyone who spawns inside will basically become donations.
Unless you're a king.
Yes. We ask that both teams spawn on their side of the lava.
Rule 4, peasants spawn on the outside. Read the rules or else you will lose your comm.
It is great to see people helping out with that, drawing some of those arrows and those sorts of things. We do love the community that we've got that actually supports each other and seems to play relatively well.
So what have we got? 9 versus 79, quite the big one.
I just crashed on out.
You've crashed, I know.
No. Twig, you recording?
I am recording. I'm also out of breath. So you guys are going to
How are you out of breath?
Probably from being sick for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That will do it.
Working for about 20 hours this weekend doesn't help. Breathing in cement dust, mixing concrete for my brother. Good old silicosis.
Okay, I should be back.
Nightmare. Oh, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to AllReasonNoLogic's King of the Hill on Raptor Crater. Looks like we are supposed to have 9 kings in the middle, but we have 10. A secret blue king has made their way into the middle of the map. They should turn into a medal donation in no time. So, King of the Hill, everyone. This is where we put a series of very skilled players in the middle of the map. We give them a bonus, in this case 65%, and then we give them 10 minutes to get ready before we let loose all of the rabid peasants that want to dethrone them. Couple of additional rules. We've turned air off. We've removed a couple of the or tweaked a couple of units, and we have we've had this lovely lava moat added in by a chronographer from AllReasonNoLogic's Discord, which makes it very obvious where people should and shouldn't be for that first 10 minutes. Joining me in the casting booth is Twig and Tank Tom, who will be helping run us through this entire match. Now, doing a quick run over of what's going on in the middle of the map. 8 lanes for the 8 kings around the outside. Each of them's going to have to defend 2 of these entrances. In the middle, we have 1 player that gets 8 lovely mexes all to themselves, but they're going to be responsible for some mass eco and coming through and sweeping and breaking one of the lanes. At some point, they're going to have to get on that attack and help break through one of those areas.
Honestly, as this player in the middle, I'd be just punching out as many construction bots as possible.
Absolutely,
right now,
you have the eco to support 8 of them at least.
Yeah, you wanna send almost 3 constructors getting those mexes, I reckon, at least. Others doing build power and wind. Commander also on wind is my preference in these things. Because right now you can see this one commander walking around. That's going to take about a minute and a half for it to get all the way around. When you've only got 10 minutes of no rush, that's, yeah, you're talking.
That's a lot of time and a lot of wasted metal potential.
And build power that the commander has. Like, you need that on your lab on these construction turrets getting a lot faster.
And we're getting the T2 lab coming down already. They do not have the energy or the metal to do that.
Like, speaking about T2 labs, top left corner, 5 seconds to go on that one. That is nasty.
Oh dear. Top right hand corner already has theirs with T2 strolling out in every direction. In fact, there is 6 T2s already on the map in the top right hand corner.
Wow, that is ballin'.
3 minutes. Insanity. Absolute insanity. I think these are the guys that did some pretty amazing work around the outside of the map before.
Yeah, if you can get
Tank
that
Tom,
item,
have you
Tommy
managed to
Eco
catch
down.
up?
I'm catching up currently.
Good, very good.
Commander
Yeah, if you can get the eco down packed for peasants, commie eco I'm talking, it can really pay off. If games don't get lost early, you're going to be matching that king's eco.
So just for reference, if you send your comm around to build all of those mexes, they finish at the 3-minute 30 mark, which is quite a scarily late amount of time to finish at.
Commander self-destructed.
King's getting all their mexes up. Wizard of Hog, not building the last 2 mexes on the edge. You really want to get all of those up as quick as possible, because with that 50, what have we got? Bonus? 55. 65.
65s.
That's massive bonus.
So that means that over the course of, we'll say it's achievable to get these by about 1:30. That means in the 8 minutes and 30 seconds, even if you don't upgrade them, these will be responsible for close to 3,000, 4,500 metal each.
Is that right?
Which is quite
That's a lot of metal. That's a lot of metal. So got to make sure to get those build orders correct. One thing that we do really encourage players that want to do King of the Hill, just jump into Raptor Crater. Doesn't have to be the modified version that we use. Just jump onto Raptor Crater, spawn yourself in with a plus 55% bonus, and then generate a build order that works for you. Or jump into a replay of one and copy a successful build order. We've seen plays out of a couple of these players that get APHIS up with a plus 55 bonus before the 10-minute mark. It also shows what defenses work really well and what don't. But in general, you want to get enough wind to have an income of somewhere between 500 to 1,000. You want to have all of your mexes taken reasonably early on. That usually means sending 2 to 3 builders out to get them. And then you want to go into that T2 once you've got about 1,000 metal in the bank and minimum of 4 build turrets going onto it.
Look at Leo Nerd, the cream commander. He's got 24 wind up. That is more than enough to go out and support the T2 factory production, and then also enough to fund a fusion being built. So that's about right.
Exactly.
You could do what
so
Wizards
if you do
doing.
look around the map.
But you could do what Wizards doing, building this many wins, but it becomes a point where it's faster to get your fusions up and not go into this many wind.
And he needs significantly more conversion at the moment.
Yes, in fact, I think the whole team needs significantly more conversion. If you look at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, the collective team overflow has got to be pretty massive, considering they're all topping out.
And in this sort of situation, you can consider doing things like going straight into a T2 converter. If the team's massively overflowing energy, then you can start converting that and get boatloads of metal to start boosting the rest of your build.
Right now the team has 90,000 energy excess. in the first 6 minutes, that's the equivalent of throwing away about 1,000. That's the equivalent of throwing away about 1,000 metal per player.
Yeah. Paul, the very similar build order to what I've got. Got the 22 wind up, and I can hear a laser tower going. Where is that happening?
Battle paused.
Here, I think.
Battle started.
On that left side.
Seems to have stopped.
That one
yeah.
is actually in a legitimate position, so that's
Yeah.
that's nothing to worry about there. It was just a unit that moved significantly far forward.
Sorry, back to what I was saying. Yeah, perfect amount of scaling happening there. Fusion already up 7.5 minutes, so gonna easily have a T2 lab down. Probably the only thing I'd suggest is a bit more build power. We do have a number of agitators coming out of Mr. Juta. A few of them look like they're going to be in range of T2 tech maxes, so make sure you do not build them there, because that is breaching the rule of no offensive structures if you can reach the other team's eco.
The Kings need to be able to have the opportunity to defend their ramps as well.
And building those defenses means that they just cannot. However, things like those beamers, I see on the very right-hand side. Matwig, that has got to go.
Where are we at? We're at about 8 minutes. How are things going in the middle? We've got, what's that, a few fusions up and running. We're looking relatively light on for eco, aren't we?
The Kings are in trouble. Honestly, the Kings are quite in trouble. We have between the Kings, we have. Oh, sorry, that's conversion.
With this sort of a bonus.
Between the Kings, we've only got eight fusions right now, and half of those are building.
I think we might need a pause in the game. We might not have any moderators around. Mr. Juta's agitators now firing on stuff, and
Commander self-destructed.
Does it look like we do not? Raiders, and we've got people that
disappeared.
aren't. And we have some rule breaches as well.
I've definitely hit end this record for this one.
Yeah. Yes, unfortunately for the King's side, an attack of pawns and sprinters is an interesting tactic, and I'm not entirely sure how well that one's going to go.
The issue with it is that the second
There's
push
no
won't be
follow-up.
there.
Yeah. It may do some damage, but without any sort of eco to back it up, plus 60
I'm
is
not against
not
that
enough.
push. Build your fusion first, then mass your army.
Exactly.
Your number one goal is hit T2, get your fusion and a converter up, and then you can consider building your army. If you get your fusion up within 6 minutes, by all means go for another one. But if it's finishing at about the 8 or 9 minutes, then you're going to be pushing it. It's going to be tight.
This is a nice
Yes,
little
does
push
look
we're
like
seeing
the
at a
only
border
attack
keeper.
heading towards the Kings happen to be somewhat intercepted by the pawns. Unfortunately, it's going to be running into a comm, and this is the worst case scenario right here. That comm is going to either reap a ridiculous toll with its D guns, or it's going to detonate and destroy most of the units. Only a handful have gotten through, and this should be reasonably efficient to deal with. There's a handful of sprinters and a handful of the pawns, and they're going to struggle to get a lot more done than they already have. We've also got a second commander getting into position to deal with any sort of second attack. So that is the exchange of one king's economy for one peasant's worth of defenses, which is not worthwhile. Second attack is happening right now from the left-hand side, but it has been cleaned up really nice by Oz Video. And unfortunately, though, for the Kings, one of the entrances is completely open, so four brutes and a single Wolverine are going to be able to make their way straight in to claim ground here. And if the peasants are smart, they will have seen this. They'll understand that there's probably not a second level of defenses, and they're going to be pushing through And it's not like the player on their right, Potato, is going to be able to defend this, because right now they are using Twin Guards to defend against Marauders, which have run past. And it looks like they've got a clear shot to the... Oh, they're taking the non-clear shot to the base. They're actually going to run into the Scorpions. That is the best possible outcome for the Kings right now. Thankfully, though, the
Would love to see
King
units coming
Benjay
out of that middle player to try and cut these off before they can do too much damage. Great to see that commander moving into position.
And it does look like the comm's going to get some good D. Oh, maybe most of them down, but 2 of them
That
have
is
snuck past. Oof.
Gonna
And
be
the comm
enough.
did go down. Razorback
Comm's
here to
gone
clean it up,
down.
though, which is nice.
It did enough damage and bought enough time that there was basically just the loss of the comm.
That did a lot
Which is
less
a-
damage than I expected.
If they hadn't gone for the other player, I reckon they would have snuck on through maybe a bit of a wider spread, and that could have been game over, but that is the decisions you have to make. Keep the firepower somewhat together or spread them apart. Really good defense here coming out of Ozvideo and Pormont, managing to push back quite a lot of pushes towards this lane. Does look like the game has somewhat stabilized here, with the exception of a large mace push that is being run by Rufin. But there does look like there'll be plenty to clean this one up. We've got the Jaguars coming down, and the Pulsar and the Starlights have been doing good damage on them as they come in. Unfortunately, though, the eco story does tell something pretty scary for the Kings. 1300 metal per second when reclaim isn't taken into account. That is, for Raptor Crater, that is about 600 lower than we would normally expect at the 10-minute mark. And for the Peasants, looking at that 3,000 metal income. 2,500 actually, when reclaim not taken into account.
Would love to see some of those Kings continuing to scale at this point where things have kind of stabilized for a little bit. Dropping another fusion, dropping some more build power, those sorts of things are rather useful, because then it means that you can catch your breath, and then the next wave that you throw out, you've got more resources to put back into it again. Because as the Kings, you can't just sit back if you're still in the middle. You need to work out how you're going to get out and start rolling around. And generally that means, while you can, put some funds into your eco, so then you've got a chance to be able to bust up a ramp. Because if
Keep
you
the
can't,
pressure on, just like what's happening with Mazza. Mazza is using Arbiters and Sheldons to continue to attack, but then in the background, he's getting his conversion up, he's getting some T1 spam up to give them vision, and hopefully we'll see some significant scaling going on from there. The other thing that should be happening in the middle is that the player in the middle can be doing some of the scaling for you if you're in one of the highly pressured lanes.
the player in the middle has done a good job of making those units. He's holding that top lane, essentially, at this point. So it means that he's not necessarily scaling as hard, but he has prevented the Kings from falling, which is just as useful as having more eco. Because having more
Something
eco
which is really important for these Razorbacks, they need spam in front of them, because right now they're about to run into Uzi and Shoko, as well as Jeston and Remnant, all making their way across to defend this. Comms sack T3 like crazy. Though they are seeing some of it, which is interesting.
they are going to go down to them, though. That's not
I don't
making
know
it
how
up
they
the
saw
ramp.
those invisible units.
They can see the
Um,
dots on the map.
Yeah, that's some good luck that they managed to zero in on it exactly. Still, those comms doing a decent job of cleaning up. But if there was some spam there, then it never would have come to those 6 Razorbacks turning into 2.
I'm surprised that many Razorbacks made it through, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. That's why I started talking about it. I thought they were all going to go down. But that is not what's happened, and now they're going to get a decent amount of damage in, because they'll be able to stay nice and spread and deal damage. You got to keep them away from the comms, though. So a little bit of micro is necessary.
Interesting.
Down to
Kodachrome
one
with
of them
some
up here.
ducks to defend against the Razorback. I do like the ducks, but I don't
Good,
love
Chrome.
ducks.
What are you doing? Just because Twig is watching does not mean you need to build ducks. No ducks.
Yeah, not the best unit of choice. Maybe if these were underwater Razorbacks, go for it. Think
We'll
Tank
happily
needing to put
allow
those
you to have the
com
ducks if
on.
you'll take them swimming in the lava.
Has died.
There we
Doesn't
go,
look
it's
like there
down.
was a potential push out in the bottom left-hand side, but it has been repelled by a massive number of ticks that are trying to squeeze by, but these Shivas have come out just in time. Those nice,
right,
big,
couple
girthy
Razorbacks.
shots coming out of their main cannons, dealing with them very, very swiftly. This should be quite the attack that they're going to have to deal with very little in the way of defenses. And especially with that spam in the front, this is going to be one of the more... This here is the... In my opinion, this is one of the make or break moments of this game. If these T3 can get onto the high ground backed up by the Sheldons, and if that T1 can keep screening in front of it, then this should turn into a pretty strong push. And it doesn't look like that corner co-opted hard enough, so they don't have the T3 labs to push this one back. The comms are not in position. It's quite literally just a Fat Boy and a Rattlesnake defending this, and now it's just a nothing. Just a com.
Right, that com. And Chrome just apologised for making those ducks in chat. Never apologise for making ducks.
Did someone actually apologize? Kodachrome, please know that the duck any negative comments are about ducks are specifically me teasing Twig. So
we did one of those what's the ranking videos of all the Cortex units, and that was the strongest disagreement point of I think ducks are good. They do have a purpose. Prey and Tom hate them.
I would also like to point out that immediately after we made that list, I did one of my matches on I think it was Red River, and I won it using ducks.
So
and I was one of the people that said ducks should be F tier. So you definitely can't take me too seriously about my opinion of ducks.
Every unit has its time and place.
Every unit has its time and place, and the time and place for ducks is insulting Twig.
The bottom left of this corner need to take the current situation of the game seriously, because there is an Aphis under fire from these Sheldons if that goes pop.
That's going down. There's no way it's not. The Arbiters already have their rockets in the air.
There we go. That is big. And now we've got a commander here that's not going to do too much. Razorback is the right answer. Is it going to be up in time?
There is enough build power, and I reckon it is. And that com going down in the middle of the Sheldons, I think is going to be just enough to keep this corner from completely falling. But there are the Razorbacks and the Shivas of
Don't tell me this one grunt
Kings
getting
team.
through is going to be a thing. There we go.
It's getting eaten, unfortunately. I'm very sad about that. I do love it when there's a hero T1 unit.
I'm just keeping my eye on the top right of this map, because there is T3 for the peasants. There are back and forth Razorbacks going. They're getting healed, and Santino really like that.
I love that. That's one of the reasons I think Titans are one of the best units in the game. If you allow them to mass by bringing them back for healing, you can end up with such a Titan force that basically nothing can stop you.
Oh, this bottom left
The
is
Kings have
looking
done
nasty
a really
again.
good job this game of stabilizing. The fact that they're still alive.
Well, one of the things which is really interesting is at the 13-minute mark, the King's eco was at 2,500 and the Peasants was at 1,400. Oh, sorry, the Kings was at 1,400. The Kings are now sitting at somewhere in the 3,000, close to 3,000 mark, and the Peasants are sitting at the 3,000 mark. Equalization at 20 minutes is a very good sign for both teams.
There's
Still
not
a
a
lot
good
of
sign
pressure
going on
coming out
down
of the
here.
Peasants.
That's the bottom left done.
That is the bottom left, and there's great potential here for the Kings because they can take those mexes, they can take the space, and more importantly, they can use the existing taken ramps to start pushing their advantage and sweeping around the map.
One of the biggest advantages is having that staging ground up on that outer tier where they can roll
breaking
around
up the ramps. Breaking up the ramps is one of the hardest parts of the King's job. Once you're up the ramps, it takes particularly good peasants to defend. I've had to fight that constantly because for some reason people that are very good and know me very well and know the units I like to build tend to go up against me. And so they let me take the top of the ramp and then completely stop me from pushing out. But as you can see, just from this one corner falling, the Kargis are going to roll through the next cliff. The demons are out and starting to push through. the economies are really starting to roll for the players up here. Oz Video now up to getting their 4th APHIS, and Mazza on their 2nd. We've also got Realistic Joe getting their looks like their 7th up and running, and they're also pumping those Thors out for defenses. Unfortunately, one of the threats the Kings are facing right now is the King Benji's, who had that successful Marauder attack at the beginning, is now starting to push in with those Vanguards, and that range is going to start being a big problem.
Probably the biggest threat out of the peasants right now is that corner, and really the peasants need to focus on winning it whilst this bottom left corner is falling, because once all these units start distracting all the other peasants, it's going to mean all the pressure, all the defensive site can be put on that top right where the biggest threat is. You want to take advantage of the fact that there is still pressure out of many of the lanes right now.
That's right. It's going to be, if the peasants can keep the Kings under pressure and can stop this from bleeding anymore, eventually the peasants will win. But if the Kings continue to do their run around, or if they manage to break another lane, then the peasants are going to be in dire straits, because we don't have any super eco corners, it looks like, this time round. We've got 3 APHIS for the bottom right. We've got 5 APHIS for the top right. 5 for the top left. Sometimes we see going upwards of 20 by this time in the match.
Yeah, it's not the best out of the peasants at the moment, but there is a lot of small scale fusion ecos around the map. So even though no massive ecos, a lot of players with sufficient eco to build decent armies, and I do suggest they all come online right now because it's not looking great for them. And pick on one spot. That's the way to do it as peasants. Pick a lane that you're going to push through and do it together.
Does look like the bottom left is holding out the best they possibly can. You've got Law Ipsum that has just been building constant starlights, and these starlights, because there's no spam, have been absolutely destroying the T3 units. And so even though this corner has lost its potential eco boom, it hasn't broken, which means that the Kings are struggling to make their way around. Not to mention they're getting ready for what looks like a push up another ramp. They really don't need to push up another ramp when they could push through the side of one. Pushing up a ramp is one of the most dangerous and hardest things to do. If there is an open attack avenue anywhere near you, it's a good idea to take that.
Best thing that their bottom left can do right now is just res everything. Get it all up
yeah.
and try and take it back.
Emir doing his best to do that, getting himself a fusion reactor off of his res, and it does look like the peasants may end up being able to rehold this because all of the forces have been kicked off of that top shelf. So now they need to start making a new way up. Looking at this big attack that's happened up the ramp in the very bottom middle, you can see why attacking up a ramp is very devastating. There wasn't even that much defense, and the 5 demons have been whittled down to 0. The mammoths have been whittled down, the T1 is gone, and the only thing left is the handful of mammoths in the tier 1 coming up, and there are snipers just absolutely bullying them, as well as T1 starting to get in the way to protect those snipers. Got a comm as well, ready to deliver those D-guns. Unfortunately wasn't set to invisible or potentially ran out of power, which has done in the defense. So damage is up, but the snipers are coming in force, the Kargis are coming in force, and so walking up a ramp is always a rough shot.
There's a massive ball of arbiters on the top right out of
they have been building up and building up and building up. These things have been firing at the edge of their ranges and just laying down so much hurt. They only have 4 kills between them, I think.
That can't be right.
Oh no, sorry, they've got 33 kills between them.
There.
But they've been dishing so much damage. Just the constant micro, and unfortunately just not enough. There's not enough economy up in this top half of the map to be able to deal with this. The units are coming in piecemeal, the spam isn't there to back it up, the vision isn't there, and the sheer range firepower that is available over here is just absolutely preventing any sort of reasonable defense. Ironically, one of the best things you could do right now is put down a couple of catalysts and drop the catalyst on those balls.
What I'm loving is there's a Titan here now. If only all of Jude's vanguards came in with this, this could potentially get in there. I don't see a commander near enough to get a D-gun out on the Titan.
Oh, don't run away. You're only
Go straight
fighting
in.
T1 units.
Just go straight in.
Just go in. If you can get the build power,
Charge.
you'll win the lane. Just having a quick look down at the bottom, Emir has managed to res a fusion, another fusion, and an Aphis. So Emir is getting this bottom left-hand side back up and running. And knowing Emir from previous games, this potentially will turn into a power corner in no time.
Yeah,
The
giving
Titan
Emir an
does look
Apis
like it's
is
finally
terrifying.
starting to walk in, and it is providing a lot of the vision for those vanguards, for those arbiters, and it is just not going down. There's nothing anywhere near close to. There's nothing close by that will be able to take down this Titan. There's Razorbacks coming, but as soon as the Razorbacks stop, they'll be taken out by the ranged firepower, and it's just going to push its way in. It's got the build power, which means Pink won't be building anything else.
All it needs to do is see these fusions, and then all the following up arbiters should be able to do the work on them.
Correct. In fact, it's even managed to get one just on its own. The Titan does a lot of damage, and that is the last of Potato's production facilities taken out, which means Potato is now entirely reliant on the kindness of his team to get him back up and running.
Finally, those Kargis coming in from Jude, but no spam in front of those, so the little horns are actually going to do a bit of damage to those, especially if they get amongst the feet of the vanguards. They'll start shooting themselves.
One of the things we've missed during this big attack is on the left-hand side, Pormont has managed to push all the way up and claim a huge amount of land. They've just destroyed a massive Aphis farm. Unfortunately, though, the production power of Wizard of Hog has been taken out, which means that this ball of units, there is nothing coming to stop it. All kings need to divert units to try and deal with this, otherwise it will be game over.
If anyone hasn't been king before and they want to know how to do it, go and watch the replay of Pormont, what they've done here. It was a very good build, got up the fusion in time and managed to get up a lot of defenses as well. Oh, that's nasty, small space going down. And that wasn't small actually, that was the one over from small. That was Wizards.
Oh man, this one demon just not quite walking in the right direction. It nearly managed to take out that entire ball of arbiters, but it just was not microed to the right place. Unfortunately though, with the breaking of Potato, both players on each side have been taken out as a result of the positioning made available. A bunch of the build power as well as the eco for the player in the middle has been taken out, and we're just and it's only now that we're getting a reaction out of most of these players to try and deal with this. There is still hope though. Oz Video has got a massive economy up and running, but they're currently generating 61,000 energy and only converting 36,000, which means that while they're putting money into more and more Aphis, it is not giving them, it's not doing anything for the team in any way. This is one of the things we have to bear in mind. The changes in King of the Hill, you need significantly more conversion than you do in a normal game.
A lot of units pushing into that middle there.
I'm annoyed, guys. I didn't record this one because of all this messing around with the
I'm surprised you
breaks?
stopped the recording. You never stop the recording.
it's turned into a really good game.
You never stop the recording.
It's been a fantastic push by that top right corner. They put the pressure on
consistent
early,
pressure.
and they've just consistently maintained it all game.
But it does look like that push is going to come to an end with the destruction of the middle of the map. And Oz Video is coming up next. I don't think that the Kings are going to be able to muster enough to stop this, which is very unfortunate because of the destruction Pormont has rent.
How unfortunate.
Very well played out of the peasants for getting to the point where they can make this sort of attack. Just letting the units build up till you had the critical mass and the spam is exactly what we needed to see. And well done to the kings that held for as long as they did, and well done to Pormont, to Oz Video, to Potato. Actually, Potato I think has taken this bottom half of the map, but to the kings that managed to push out onto the top half of the map, you nearly managed to run a ring around the peasants, but unfortunately, too much was invested into the eco and not enough into the defense for that top right hand side.
Do we do another one, guys, tonight? Because if we do, I was thinking of throwing a bigger bonus on.
Throwing what, sorry?
A bigger bonus on the kings.
I think we can potentially fit one more in, but I think that we will do that with the proviso that if it starts getting to if it runs too long, we might need to cut the cast partway through.
That's totally fine.
But they got, what, half an hour or so before we're looking to...
Half an hour till
wrap up?
midnight or so. So. And if you're listening in, Kings, and if you do want to play another one, it is definitely time to Control D those comms.
Yeah, we're going to get another one in.
Pormont wants another one.
There we go. Nicely done, Pormont.
There we go. We do appreciate that. We want to get we don't want to end these too early, because for the players that have built up, we actually want to let them have the fun of pushing in. But we also, when it's over, we want to get into that next one. Let's have a quick shuffle of kings. Actually, while Tank Tom and Twig start the quick shuffle of kings, I'm gonna have a look at that top right hand side where they managed to scale themselves
I'll be back in a sec.
all the way up into 23 APHIS, as well as a large amount of conversion, multiple T3 labs, and just pressure beyond pressure. Really good job, IQU for fun, Robot Wiz, Lingeron, all these players we recognize. OP Man. In fact, this corner was stacked. This corner was super stacked. I've recognized every name so far there, and I also know that we had where are you? Alex Speed. There was a couple of other players that had units on the front that were doing really well, but I just can't find them. But very well done out of that top right corner. For those of you interested and who can read the stats, there they are. And a quick look at the graphs for the damage dealt. You can actually see just how there was actually a peasant that topped out the damage. So well done to you, my friend. All right. Let's have a look at where we're at. OP Man, Viva la Revolution. 2 pumps, we are fitting one more in, and depending on how long the game goes will depend on whether the full game ends up in the stream. I'm going to rest my voice for a moment, and let Twig and Tank Tom do the setup for this one.
What bonus we thinking this time around?
75.
75? We could do 75s. I love how you guys throw to me as I'm trying to do all of the lobby setup stuff.
I gotta
protect my
voice.
Pretty much every single game. What do we got? We need 9 for this, don't we? Should know how many we need for these. Cool.
Alright, I'm back. We had, wondering if I jump in. Oh no, we've already got the 9 kings.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of people rotate through by the look of it.
There's no, my voice is not working the cracker now.
Whoops.
Hey, Twig made the cut.
So we're expecting to see 3 APHIS at 10 minutes, Twig?
No, it's, I think I've missed out. I'll jump out if there's all the spots taken.
Let me check those IDs, and then we can probably look at jumping pretty much straight on into it. I think we're good to go.
I'll jump on out then so that we can start things. No other, there's still some peasants with bonuses. I'll just remove those. Do we mind if there's 10 kings, and I'll just help the middle king commie?
Yeah, you can probably do that if you want. Just wait on these last couple of players. Looks download finished? Yes, it has. We'll do one more ring, and then I'll start speccing people so we can get going.
No worries. Yeah, I'm going to just go in there, and I think Grumpiness is going to take the eco spot in the middle. I'm just going to help them out, get that eco up a little bit faster, try and match some of these extremely good commie corners.
So what you're saying is you're going to get in his way and steal his medal?
Exactly. No, I'll definitely share. Until we get to T3, then I want to micro stuff.
Okay, let us.
All right. I'm just going to spec, and then I'm going to get the joiners in the middle so that there's 9 kings.
Ah, fair.
That's what I'm getting told in the chat.
Let me know when you're ready, and we should be good to go.
I'm good. I'm good. We can get things started if everyone else is ready.
I've got. Oh, there we go.
Are you back?
Nah.
Maybe you throw the record button in on this one, because I think I'm going to be join as on Grumpiness.
I can do that.
Given this is the last one, if you guys haven't subscribed and you want to, we're AllReasonNoLogic, myself, Twig, Pradith, and Tank Tom. We've got a YouTube and Twitch. We do appreciate any support given.
Oh my god.
Similarly, if you do enjoy watching this game but haven't started playing it yet, it is free on the Beyond All Reason website. Just jump on there, give it a download, make an account, and play as you will.
I'm gonna be rejoining again because it just crashed on me.
Alrighty. Joe, for your reference, it looks like there are 69 peasants versus the 9 kings. How do we have 10 players in the middle?
Because Twig's doing a join as.
No, it looks
Who's
like
gonna
just
help?
somebody's trying to place in the middle.
Ah.
So I would say that is... There we go, that moved down. Nice.
I reckon we get a 4-star on this one. I can't ready up myself.
Actually, then, let's get that up and running with a 4-start. Shit.
And if any peasant comms spawn in the middle, I get them. I don't have a comm. So feel free to start in the middle, peasants.
In fact, many peasants should start in the middle to give massive donation.
Pretty much good to go.
You guys don't. Oh, actually, I'm in
Reckon
game.
so.
Can I do a 4-star? I think I can.
Give it a go.
There we go. I can do things. I'm not used to being in the games.
Battle started.
Hello and welcome everybody to AllReasonNoLogic's King of the Hill. You're joining us for a 9 versus 69, now 68 because of that lovely medal donation given to the kings. For those of you unfamiliar with the format, we have 9 kings in the middle of the map. They have, in this case, a plus 75% bonus, which is going to help them to scale exponentially. Surrounding them is lava that drops at the 10-minute mark, acting as a 10-minute no-rush timer. Around the outside, the formerly 69 peasants will be working together to try and break those kings down the 16 ramps available to them. Each one of the kings around the outside is responsible for holding 2 of those lanes and pushing up out of them. The king in the middle is responsible for getting enough metal and enough energy to start making a significant difference and either pushing one lane or helping defend as needed. For the peasants to win, we need to see a few things. These corners need to work together to get their co-op eco going. 1 lab between 4 players is significantly faster than 4 labs between 4 players, distributing that T2 and helping the team grow. If you're directly in front of one of these lanes, then you have to make a choice. Are you going to go on the defensive, or are you going to go on the offensive? Offensive brings risk, but also great reward. If you do, start your units at 7 minutes. If you don't, start your defenses at 8 minutes. If you're on the wings, take cues from what the players in front of the ramps are doing, and decide: are you going to build defenses to help them, or are you going to build units to help them? If they are not if there is no one in your area putting pressure on, at least try to put some on. If you're in one of these positions around the sides, I'm sorry to say, you don't have much backup, so you're going to be in the hardest positions, but it's where we see some of the craziest plays. Joining me in at the booth is Tank Tom and Twig to an extent, though Twig is sharing with another player in game.
Oh, we didn't get that extra medal in the middle. How sad.
Oh no, they removed the common, didn't give you the money?
Oh, hang on.
That's terrible.
Hang on. I take that back. I raised it.
Somebody already got it.
Raised it through the power of friendship.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And that means that that means Twig and Grumpiness will each be able to control one of the comms themselves. Alrighty then. So, if you're playing in the middle of the map, one of the things that I highly recommend you do is practice a bit of a build order. It is very important to get your 6 mexes nice and early. The earlier you get them, the better off you are, because each one of these will generate, instead of the 1.9, they actually generate 3.3 a second, which means that 10 minutes worth is 600 seconds at 3.3, which is a nice and solid, why am I trying to do maths on stream? 2,500 metal, or thereabouts. And that is going to be the sort of thing that finances you to that early T2 lab. You have to decide how much wind you're going to get, how much build power, what your go is. In this case, Hot Potato is going for a low wind early T2 strategy. That means the T2 is coming up a minute earlier than my T2 tends to. But the support here of the wind is much, much lower. Only the 18 to go for, whereas I try to range somewhere in at the 32 to 50 is my go-to. Compare that to Grumpiness in the middle, getting their T2 slightly slower. Also going with low energy, but a couple of these advanced solars for the stable energy. Looking around the map, you see a few of the other players a little bit higher on wind. Rosie with the 32, that's my go-to normally. And Maxi is going for the T2 after a nice solid 40 wind, also a good amount. You just have to balance that build power and make sure that you don't overflow the metal when you reclaim your T1. Once you're in the T2 phase, you need to be racing yourself to get the fusions as well as the T2 mexes, both equally important. And you have to just make your decisions based on what you can pour your money into at the time. Reclaiming the T2 lab is necessary. Once you've got the first fusion with a plus 75, you should definitely be getting a second or even an APHIS. You really do not need that. The eco will pay off in spades, and the time it takes to build the eco can be supplemented by just more build power to deal with your problems.
To build an APHIS, you need 25 build towers, 1,000 energy, and 140 metal a second to do it in a minute.
There you go. And if you're reclaiming a lab or something to do it, then you need significantly less metal a second, because you'll be taking a third of, well, actually you'll be taking half of the cost from the lab, because reclaiming a 3,000 metal lab actually gives you close to 5 and a bit thousand metal with that plus 75%. And as you can see, progression going at nice and well. We are sub at 6 minutes. We've got the T2 advanced advanced metal extractors going down in the middle of them. 4 of them being worked on at once, doing a little bit of an energy stall. But we do see energy coming down to deal with that near some of the build power. So hopefully they'll be up and running in no time. Fusion half cooked for Kokaido. Kokaido very, very strong in this position, but very low on that energy. Has supplemented with a couple of solars to deal with the to give that consistency over the wind. I do like a little bit of the consistency in these builds. Looking at the corners, on the right-hand side, we do have a co-op eco factory, but it is only pumping those out, pumping those T2 constructors out at that 6.5 minute mark. Top right, we've got, it doesn't look like too much in the way of co-op eco. We've got Borkbot trying to do their own, but with only one metal, with only one metal extractor, that's going to be a very long time coming. Top left side, we do have that first APHIS coming down, with only 30 seconds left to go, and it does look like they're going to stall out for metal slightly, but they have plenty here to reclaim if they need it. Bottom left-hand side, not too much in the way of that co-op going on, at least not for the time being.
I am still going to be playing catch-up for most of this game, I suspect. I've had a couple of crashes early.
Unfortunate. That's right,
Not
I'll have
having
to
you
take on
tonight.
the bulk. Just let me... Alright, I've just popped my screen up on the Discord for you, Tank Tom, so that'll at least give you a reference point of what's going on. Does look like Fusion down for Grumpiness, Aphis coming down, and with 2 minutes 20 to go, the Kings are going to have to start working on their defenses. They have to start getting that build power up. They need to make decisions about what their eco is going to be. Unfortunately, for quite a lot of the Kings, it's going to be one Fusion. Though we do have a couple that are getting their second one up as we speak, or going into an APHIS. The APHIS at this point is a risky decision. But if they think that they've got the capacity to do it, then I'm not going to argue. Kokaido with the 21 build turrets will be able to get this up in a little over a minute from now.
We're just going to make it rather tight for getting those units up.
If no one attacks him, it's not a problem. And from what we're looking at right now, the threat is nine aggravators, which can be dealt with just a handful of any T2 unit.
I do kind of like going for the APHIS, but it's always a risky play because you're always low on units whenever you hit the 10-minute mark. If you can make it to 11 minutes, you are set.
With the plus 75 on, I've got a build which will get me to an APHIS with all conversion and an army at that 10-minute mark, but it is tight. It is very tight, and it sacrifices defense on both of the lanes, and it only puts defense on one of the lanes, which if anyone watches me play, it knows that's my usual.
Which is a reasonable sacrifice to make.
Exactly.
Jalio twice as much army at 11 minutes.
Jalio with the double fusion, unfortunately doesn't have enough of the conversion. You got to remember with plus 75, you can actually fully support two of the advanced energy converters per fusion. So even while you're building, you can still afford to have, I think it's 2.5 of the advanced converters, and you still won't be checking out all of your energy. Most units, that is. Alright, we've got 10 seconds to go. Let's have a quick look across the map. 350 units on the map, which means this is going to be a nice passive one, especially considering that a significant portion of those are actually the Kings. They have almost 100 of those units, which means that the peasants are running well behind the pace we've been seeing earlier today. And we'll see exactly how that one goes. The lava is down. The units are coming in. We've got a big push of T1 units that unfortunately running into Fiends and a decent defense out of Hot Potato. None of them managed to break through. Small little skirmish trying to push past from Piece of Bread, but unfortunately they are getting pushed back by the Jaguars. The Jaguars going to struggle to push out where they currently exist because of those walls and those defenses. But a decent push is coming through at Leonidas. Leonidas falling a little behind the 8-ball for this game. Hasn't got their first fusion down. Hasn't got their defenses down. Hasn't got their units out. Which means it's going to be up to the rest of the team to help boost them into a safe point. Thankfully, though, Jalio pushing those units up to defend. Unfortunately, that means that they're going a little bit too high, and another one of Leonidas' lanes have fallen. This is one of the problems. Even a single king not managing to get their defenses up, feeling a little bit behind, could cause absolute destruction. Thankfully, looking in the middle of the map, Grumpiness has got some defenses themselves to try to keep them busy. Just some twin guards, but those twin guards are going to be just enough.
All they need to do is stop a couple of ticks
Oh,
on
no.
those few units that make it in.
Oh no,
Oof,
Piece of
that's
Bread's
gonna
found the
be-
conversion. This is bad. That's really bad. That was the build power of Enderlum. Enderlum now going to struggle to get those units out, and this leaky faucet, the leaky faucet that is Leonidas in this one, is going to be causing problems all over the map. The offense has been essentially stopped. The defense is all over the place, and the only place where units are actually making it up right now is the top right-hand side, where we have sprinters trying to work their way up, but plenty of defenses here. The shell shockers doing some damage, good walls separating these units up, plenty of comms at the top, and now units. So it looks like that's going to be as much as she wrote. Welders pushing up on the middle of the top middle, but they're coming into quite a wall of defenses. We have 8 beamers, 14 LLTs, and units defending against this one without spam and without long range units to deal the chip damage and make their way in. Unfortunately, isn't going to happen. This is where something like Arbiters would be phenomenally good to just start pushing, to just start dealing the damage, even if the units can't get up the side.
Those demons
Grumpiness
coming out
has
of the
sent
middle,
a
yeah.
Grumpiness has sent a demon to the right hand side to try and deal some damage, and it is attacking up those cliffs. It has seen a comm and is trying to, and using the attack ground command to try and deal damage. Unfortunately, just a little bit offset, and so Ramant is not taking damage from that fire just yet. If we get those blitzers in front, though, they should do a nice reveal and protect. Oh no, that demon's just sticking out of
close.
D-gun range. Thankfully, though,
But
all of these
these will
blitzers are
provide
going
provision.
to clear this up. And we will end up... There we go. It has been targeted, it has been closed, and now this demon should be able to do a lot of damage. Demons in King of the Hill, I reckon it is their best role in the entire game. They are so powerful when you're fighting T1 and T2 units. Does look like Indez is going to get the D-gun on it, but some damage has been done and more pressure can come with 2 more demons on it the way. You just have to keep vision. Looking to
In
the
those
left-hand side, it does
situations-
look like the Jaguars have found a spot to try to push up a little bit. They are taking some fire from the high ground turrets, but all they're fighting when they have to push through is a wall of grunts, which is something that they excel at destroying. Behind that, there is nothing to stop them. Only a comm whose explosion might deal a bit of damage, but doesn't look like it is being... There we go. It is now being microed. If it can get into range, it will do a lot of damage. D-guns and comm explosions are very good for Jags. And it does look like Commander Wedge is getting their comming position to stop that from pushing into the top side. This is
Great
a lot
D-guns
of
there.
fantastic D-guns, but this is a lot of metal that's just been sacrificed to break up this ramp. And this is where I talk about the value of T1 units. A couple of T1 units in front to do things like ward that comm off so the comm explosion doesn't do so much damage is good. The Jaguars are great units, but in the high numbers, they tend to have some... The problem with them is that you lose so much metal when you end up finding a comm because they're such short range.
And they tend to be grouped
Demons-
together.
Demons on the right-hand side have managed to push up. Unlike the previous kings, we're not getting as much scaling in the middle of the map. We're getting a T3 units. The scaling is happening, don't get me wrong, but a lot of these build turrets are targeted on getting things like those lovely catapults. And things like plays like this are what is necessary for King of the Hill to stay somewhat balanced. It is designed around the fact that the kings should win at least one corner. If they do not win at least one corner, then the peasants will outscale them almost every single time. So
Kings need
the
to
early
be able to
attack
push
is
out.
part of the match.
To be able to even up that sort of map pressure. Because if the kings can't get out, then they're going to die with the corners being able to outscale them sooner or later.
Exactly. It is that advantage that they get from the plus 75, both in scaling, but also in how early they can bring a T2 or a T3 push to bear. That gives them the opportunity to stabilize. If none of that happens, if the kings never manage to leave the base, then they do not manage to win. In fact, well, that seems like a pretty obvious thing to say, but if they don't manage to break out in a reasonable amount of time, then they do not win.
pressure on this left-hand side coming in from the peasants. It won't quite make it all the way in, but it's definitely drawing a reaction.
Thankfully, Leonidas finally able to get his shield wall in place and do some defending. Hopefully that will continue to creep forward and we can actually close off the entrances as compared to closing off the base. The entrance is the area that needs to be held, because when units can move freely around this donut, it means that the players next to you cannot do their jobs.
I do like where that Persecutor is going down. That's a great spot where it can reach that middle section that you're trying to defend and just touches on the top of the ramps without actually hitting the peasants' bases at all.
Exactly, that's the sort of defense we want to see built for those on stream. That's the Persecutor that Tank Tom was talking about. I was having a look at the right-hand side as the demons have started making their way down to clear the bottom right-hand side of the map.
The march has begun.
So one of the things that the peasants are doing right now, which is a problem, they're sending the units in piecemeal. You need to one of the things that peasants need to start doing is recognizing that players will be sacrificed for the greater good. These snipers, if they had been set up in a nice line across here with a lot of spam in front of them, the demons were well and truly ahead of all of the king's spam, and potentially all of them, but probably not quite all of them, could have been taken out by those snipers, which would have completely changed the fight. But that is putting a lot of pressure on just one person, because the kings have grouped up. They are now fighting with the front line and with the back line. We do have Kokaido's units that are making their way in now. He's got the long range support to back up the demon frontline attack.
It is great to see them working together there, rather than it being just one pushing out. There's, 3 different colors all working together.
And that's the sort of thing you have to do. Even though the kings are individually powerful, you can't rely solely on your own power.
It's much more successful when you can work together.
Just like the way that if one king breaks, it's very likely the entire king's team will break. If you view the kings as a single team with 9 people controlling it, and if you do that, your odds of winning go up significantly. One person can spam, one person can T3 close range, one person can T3 long range, one person can T2 mid range, and you end up with a result like this where the kings are just sweeping and it doesn't feel like anyone can stop them. And especially since when your units have to be moved to defend, it weakens your lane and lets the next king in the row start sending their units up their own lanes. I'm not going to diminish Hot Potato's efforts in pushing up here. He's done most of that himself, but the fact that all of the units were going to defend top right meant that very little were there to defend in at the middle, and it becomes a bit of a cascading effect.
You can see those kings, now that those ramps are open, they're basically using each other's ramps to have access to that top tier and moving around. And
exactly, use the ramps to give you many layers of attack, many places to go, and try to attack where the defenses are weakest, or if you can attack defenses side on, so only a handful of them are hitting you at once.
And it's basically at this point where it becomes a base race. The left-hand side is still strong. They've basically got a timer of how long does it take those demons to walk around the map to be able to try and make it into the middle, and they've still got a chance. If they can make it in and pop the middle eco for the kings, there is a very good chance that the kings will start to collapse from the inside.
And this is where the identification of the middle left king as being the weakest point, this is where all of the players left in the game right now have to make a choice about how they're going to play, and the realistic answer is to try to absolutely wedge yourself down that one ramp. One successful attack through here will cut all of the reinforcements from the rotation around the side, and at that point you can just keep throwing comms at the problem until it's exploded to death. But unfortunately, It is only a handful of peasants attacking down the one most vulnerable ramp.
Whilst it will feel like a Hail Mary, and if it doesn't work out, then that'll probably be the game. The thing is,
if you don't do that, you don't have a chance.
Yeah. When your option is maybe or definitely not, take the maybe.
because we're just having the top right-hand side that was weakened earlier now being taken out by T2. So it is definitely time for the peasants to really start putting that pressure on. But right now, this attack is not something that will be stopped anytime soon. Huge amount of range, huge amount of close range, huge amount of T1, and the resources on the map just aren't there for the peasants anymore. You've got the 2100 income for the peasants, and unfortunately the only attack that has any real chance of working is outside of its radar jam, as it's outside of its spam and is being taken out right now. The peasant, Azix did the best that they could to hold this ramp and push down, but they just weren't supported enough by the players around them. For example, Lovi Shield sending a light trickle of spam, but focusing most of their economy into a single Aphis. Right now, they are generating more energy than they are consuming, so it would have been better off just popping straight into those units. Similarly, static offense is statically defending. Needs to be helping with that push. If those snipers had been backed up with a lot of T1, I actually think they would have broken through, because the response has only just happened and it's about 40 seconds too late. But the units had already been taken out because they weren't supported.
And that's one thing. You can see the push that's really successful for the Kings has got layers of firepower to it. They've got those, not so much the spam anymore because that's all died, but they've got
the spam died and they're out of unit. They're out of unit pop cap.
Yeah. So now their spam is T2 tanks rather than T1 units. But when they can afford it and it's the solid streams, you might as well run with it. But they did have those layers of the T1 units in front of the T2 units backed up by the T3 units that just rolled on through.
It's actually quite funny. What I said came out to be perfectly true, in that this attack would peter itself out with or without the defending. And if you'd been able to funnel all those resources into the middle, it would have gone quite well. And then all you'd have left to deal with is basically what's there now, which is a handful of demons, a handful of T2 units, and the comms have just been throwing themselves at the problem. And it's been working. You're down to almost nothing on this big attack. But unfortunately, not enough has been put to bear, and now we have a Juggernaut moving up the ramp on the top left-hand side, backed up by 12 of the catapults, and some spam moving through Vanguard. Spam in this case being Marauders and Bulls and even Fat Boys. So not your typical spam, but it is what it is when the economy gets to this sort of level. Interestingly enough, there's enough spam coming down that hill that's getting into those catapults. Which means that it would most certainly be possible to take this push out. But again, it comes down to that risk reward. You have to press the Kings in the right places. And in this one, there was an amazing set of Kings to run this one. Rosie, after her experience in the previous in a previous match tonight, has massively lifted their game. Cookado, an absolute classic in this matchup. Hot Potato, very experienced. Jalio takes every opportunity to get into Kings. Leonidas stalled a little early on, but has managed to get themselves into the fight. Endelum would have done better, but for the leaks. Robot Wizard doing great to hold their lane, and then in at the middle, the combined forces of Grumpiness and Twig united as one player, balancing the eco and the offensive units in a way that we don't normally see. Usually the middle does not build the units early enough to make a difference, and that is one of the big changes we saw this match. That T3, those handful of demons, and the units sent to the right places, the catapults, have just done wonders. So basically what I'm saying is the middle was stacked. And Twig in no meaningful way made a contribution to the game. He just wanted to be on the winning side, so he subbed himself into a better player.
I just enjoyed being able to just micro those demons. Like,
made a huge difference.
Those 6 demons took out probably about 16 bases, if not more.
And that is why we don't normally allow for multiple players to control a single king, because part of the balance is APM stalling. But after several very large losses to the peasants, we let the Kings have a little bit of free reign. Just looking up here at this top right, 21 APHIS for Victor 12. Huge amount of eco. Unfortunately, it just hasn't paid off because
Need
before
to
it
turn
could
them
really
into
be brought
units.
to bear, it didn't manage to be brought to bear against the units, and so the Kings are cleaning up. Wait, what happened there?
I think it was some self-Ds. I'm assuming.
Was it too premature? Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't think you're losing from this point.
With a handful of peasants left, the Kings are now on mop-up duty, and a very good job to them. I'm just going to see if I can find the stats for Victor in here. So Victor's damage dealt 272,000, which is the second highest in the game. But if you compare that to some of the Kings that are in the 500 to a million range, the eco was good, but it just came on at that little bit too late. Unfortunately, because the way these works, the graphs won't be super informative, but if you see that damage ticking on late, I suspect it would be somewhat later. But a very good job out of the Kings to win this one after some big losses. Top left side, Scruffy Con has decided that he will be the last com. He will be the very last com. This is the one time where I wish nukes were on, because man.
I mean.
Nukes
are on.
I think we got him.
Wow.
I think we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Alrighty, let's have a quick look at the damage dealt graph. I really want to see that one. Yeah, unfortunately, as you can see, a lot of the damage done by the peasants is very hard to see, but you can see Twig and Cookado in the middle, just absolute dominant in that damage, as well as Hot Potato just keeping that pressure on. And you can also see a few of the other Kings really ramping it up. But I love the early damage out of who was in that position? Early damage out of Maxi 12, absolutely fantastic. That's the sort of thing we want to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for us. Massive thank you to the moderators that came on and made this lobby possible, as well as managing it throughout the night. We really do appreciate it. Massive thanks to everyone watching on Twitch and YouTube, both the official and on ours. If you enjoy the content, sub to the official, sub to our own. We've been AllReasonNoLogic. I've been Freydith. We would have put out a King of the Hill video. King of the Hill video
live just recently.
About an hour ago, and there's a tiny little Easter egg that I left at the end, all at Twig and Tank Tom's expense. So they're not even aware of that. So if you want to check that one out and leave us a like there, it would be greatly appreciated. Links incoming into the chats. Tank Tom, would you mind posting those links into our private chat so I can post them into the YouTube and the Twitch? That's going to be it from me. I'll leave you with Twig and Tank Tom to sign themselves out. Don't forget to big thanks to everyone who watched, and big thanks to everyone who played. We wouldn't be able to do these at nights without you. If you're interested in more of our content, we do stream on Wednesdays at the same time, where we do a much more casual game. We'll actually be in the Discord, not in a private casting channel, and we'll be interacting with anyone who joins us. Priority will be given to people in the Discord. Thanks for joining us.
All right, we're doing a raid. I don't know if maybe you want to set that one up. If there's an after party.
I don't have the streams open anymore.
Alrighty then, I'm going to swap this out to the end of stream. Thanks everyone for joining us. If there is a raid happening, then it will be popped up into the Twitch chat. Does look like there is. All right, catch you, everyone. All right, we are muted on my end.
Alright, give me a sec. I'll mute mine now.